That's what I'm talking about. What's going on, everybody? Welcome, wonderful goglings, gogorifics, gog peoples of the world. I hope everyone is doing well, and I hope you folks are looking forward to episode 295 of Pen and Pixels. Wow, 5 episodes away from 300. That's crazy. Ghosts of Saltmarsh with myself. I am your host and dungeon master for the game today, Arvin Eleron, and of course the amazing D&D with GOG crew, whom I will be happy to introduce to you in just a moment. But before I get there, just a couple of reminders about ways to support us here on the channel. If you haven't done so already, please make sure to follow us here on GOG.com. If you haven't done so already, please make sure to check out as well, subscribe to us here on GOG.com. You can get all those awesome DRM-free emotes and things like that to use everywhere across Twitch, and also support the various streamers here. And if you haven't already done so, please consider clicking through and checking out all of our individual channels, because all of the streamers here have their own individual channels and stream systems and setups and Patreons and sub stuff and all that kind of good stuff. So all of that happens if you can support us over there as well. Now, schedule-wise, we are up now for the next few hours. We will be with you as we continue to make our way through whoops, sorry, that's not right. To make our way through the Ghosts of Saltmarsh. And we will be closing off today because the next person on this channel will not be here till tomorrow, where Wolfie Lore is going to be here with a horde of chattering beavers in a game called Timberborn, which I'm not sure if I'll be able to check that out, but I'd like to if I can, because that looked kind of interesting to me. But we are going to be closing up the shop today after a fun day of streaming, and so you'll have a chance to hang out with us there. I also want to mention very quickly that I am going to be at Origins in Columbus, Ohio this weekend. It is the first time that I've been to a major convention. I did go to a small one in May, in that brief shining window for about 3 seconds where it seemed like we had seen the other side of the pandemic. Now, at least in the States, the numbers for the Delta variant are beginning to go back down again, thank goodness, so let's hope that continues. But in any case, I am going to be at Origins, which I have been going to for a number of years. I'm the co-coordinator of the author's library there, so I'm going to be there, and we're going to be doing some panel descriptions, some panel stuff for people and things like that. So I hope if any of you are in the Columbus, Ohio area in the United States, you should definitely consider stopping by. Masks, of course, are required, but we will be there, and we'll be there all weekend, and I will have some books to sell and to sign, and some information to impart, and some stuff to do, so it's going to be a good time, and I am looking forward to it. So that's going to be happening this weekend, as a note for anyone who is in that area. But right now, the time has come for us to jump in with our all-European crew. That's right. It is a fully European crew, and the one pathetic American here, myself, that is here with us.
They left.
They yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We that's what happened. They left. Yeah, that's true. Actually, European plus ancillary. Well, there's people who want to be part of it, right? Some people in England right now and Wales might like to go back to get some of their free stuff.
People,
Brexit.
People in America that want to really be part of Canada, but you're not. You really want to be part of the European Union, but we're not.
But we're not. And of course, the amazing crew that I'm speaking to is these awesome friends and wonderful players that you can see. It's the D&D with GOG crew.
They can't see us.
Yeah, they can. Yeah, they can.
No.
What?
Can?
What are you talking about?
No, they can. Okay. Because
that
then
was quite a delay. I'm like, I did that a while ago. Like I was, but it is our wonderful crew with us here today as we continue with Saltmarsh. So before we get there, I do want to let each of them introduce themselves, and I will start with, of course, our fearless stream team leader, who was showing, in an attempt not to make me jealous, was showing me all of the awesome RPG stuff that they have, and so I had to point out the fact that I do have the Diablo 2 D&D game. There was a D&D Diablo 2 crossover tabletop game, which I've even run a little bit of. So I did have that, but otherwise, yeah, Pyron was showing me this amazing kind of like, I don't know, German, I assume, language. No, it's not. It's just, okay. So yeah, I
sent you a link.
It was just all, okay, good, cool. I'm looking forward to checking it out. Anyway, I'm speaking, of course, of the amazing Pyron Jade. Pyron, it's good to see you. How are you? How's life, the universe, with all of your amazing epic RPG things that you have? And who are you playing today?
I'm feeling slightly mocked.
Mocked?
Apart from that.
No, I'm describing jealousy at not having these other things.
Well, I'm a bit tired tonight, but I think it will all work out. Apart from that, I think I'm actually doing fine. Maybe playing a little bit too much Blood Bowl, but this also cured me from my Spellcaster University addiction. So there's balance in all things, I guess. And I'll play Waves Crashing Against Rocks, or as the sound still doesn't play properly on stream, as I've heard when editing the videos. I still try it though.
There it is. Yeah. Yep.
A Kenku Paladin. And I use this soundboard because Kenkus do not speak on themselves, but only repeat stuff they have heard. So I've got like a soundboard with lots of sounds and things people have said, or things that Arf has said like. And we'll use them whenever I need to say something.
That is pretty good. Is that actually me?
Yes.
Okay, that's awesome. Great. I look forward to hearing those things related back to me. Arudnell points out that trading one addiction for another doesn't count as cured. Well, look, I mean, I think it's a kinder, gentler addiction is what we're talking about here. But it is good to see Pyre, and it is also good to see, as always, Darksaber 2K, who of course knows all about the Diablo 2 stuff. I actually was watching as he played a little bit of the upgraded graphics stuff in his channel, and it was pretty impressive looking, actually. I had some great joy out of Diablo 2 back in the day. But thank you as always for doing Mubat and Dashboard and all that kind of good stuff, Saber. And how are you? How's life in the universe with you? And who are you playing today?
I'm really, really good. Thank you. Like you said, I've been checking out the new Diablo 2 Resurrected, which is awesome, but sadly not on GOG. Hey, now that's out, maybe we can have the original Diablo 2 Blizzard. Maybe we've got Diablo 1. And on top of that, I was checking out Castlevania Advance and had a really surreal moment where Konami's official account stopped by my stream and then tweeted it out to 1 million people, which was surreal and bizarre and wonderful. So that happened.
Saber with the raids too. Was that the same one where you got raided?
Oh god, yeah.
You got like a bunch of people. Saber's basically just like he's on his way out. He's just blowing up. You know, we're just like whatever.
It has been a 7-day period where a lot of things have happened to me. It's very strange. Yes, that was Dan's Gaming raided when I was streaming Shelter 2 last week with 2,000 people, which was again mind blowing and. Yeah, it's hard to process because that's a lot of stuff that doesn't usually happen to me. That's happened to me in a very short space of time. So yeah, but tonight I'll be kicking it with my friends here, and I'm going to be Morthoil Gagonians, Dwarven Artisan at your service.
I look forward to seeing how Morthwheel manages things with an angry force of creatures outside the door. I mean, just a group of friends that all want to say hi. I'm sure that's what it is. Always a pleasure to have Saber with us, and also always a pleasure as I move up down and then back up on the set of squares to our good friend Peripheral Mike, who was with us. Mike, it is good to see you, and yes, I see that we've got. I just noticed this for the first time. Is that a Venom thing you've got over on your desk?
I thought you'd never ask. Yes, it is. So I've got the Lego Venom.
That's really funny.
Spoiler alert, Venom, Eddie Brock and Venom was one of the inspirations, as we've spoken about in the past, for Silvo's backstory and also his character arc / development. And there are elements of that to him. But I saw this not long after starting to write Silvo's backstory and Silvo's character kind of creation blurb, and I saw that in a shop and I was just like, well, this is meant to be, isn't it? So I gotta get this. So yeah, I got that. Very pleased with that. But yeah, I'm doing really well. I'm still suffering from a bit of a cold. It's a different cold than last time. Definitely don't have COVID. I've had a test. I just have a head cold because I dared to go out and play mini golf on Saturday over the weekend because we had friends over. We also played IRL D&D, and let me just tell you, Curse of Strahd is not a joke. Oh boy,
no, it's not.
that is not an easy campaign.
No, it's not.
And I'm the healer. So that was a stressful session. I was like, oh man, you need a doctor. You are the doctor. I can't fix this. Oh dear.
You need another doctor.
You need more doctors. Yeah, so today I'm so excited to be playing Silvo Janus Betulus, the half-elven sorcerer who has been making his own way in the city of Saltmarsh for a while and is kind of along for the ride at this moment with his new companions, just basically to see what he can claim salvage rights on in this old spooky haunted house.
I look forward to seeing how that all works out. Yeah, Mike and I have been talking a little bit about other possibilities for his character, and you may see those rolled out over time. And Astronomal, Curse of Strahd was a long campaign that I ran on my own channel as well. If you go to my channel, you can see the YouTube notes for that. It was an incredible experience, but it was definitely hard, and it is not D&D 101. Like, it is not the first adventure you want your party to go through. It is challenging, but it's good. It's good stuff. It's well done. Moving right on down the line, though, last but certainly not least, of course, is the amazing and awesome Inanda, who is also showing off some of the RPGs, including a Buffy the Vampire Slayer tabletop role-playing game. Good stuff. So we were all just sort of like, oh yeah, well, I happened to, oh whoops, look, it's my this. So we were all showing off our swag. How are you doing, Ananda? How's life in the universe with you, and who are you playing today?
Playing Who's the Bigger Geek?
Yes, that's true.
I'm not too bad, thank you. I'm a little sleep deprived, so apologies if my mental capacity is a little bit down today. I'm not too bad, thank you. I had a lot of fun playing the GOG Showdown on Sunday. And today I've been playing over on my own channel a game that I started playing over here, a game called Sally Face. It's very dark, but kind of got me in the right mindset for, right, we're going to kick some butt tonight. I am playing Brine the Bloodthirsty. She's a water genasi fighter pirate, and she thinks she's Billy Big Boots. However, when she goes to try and do anything that's even vaguely awesome, I end up having to be revived by the rest of the team. So let's see if we can change that today, and hopefully she will not do too badly. Maybe.
I'm sure it will be fine. This is all the crucible in which the legend of Brine is forged. That's the way I choose to see it. So.
Mm-hmm.
So first we just have to burn away those annoying hit points, so you can be reforged. Anyway, it is a great pleasure to have these wonderful people with me as we move on with Ghosts of Saltmarsh. Folks, let's do it, and let's move over to our map. In our last session, we were okay. This map is fine, but I think maybe I could bring you over a little bit to where you actually are. That's more like it. Yes, much better. In our last session, the party has been attempting to seek through this house, which it is claimed by the residents of Saltmarsh is a haunted place. The reality, of course, is that whether or not it's haunted, there are some issues going on with that house, specifically with possibly smugglers that have been using that home and or slavers who have been using that place as a base of operations. Formerly owned by an artificer alchemist who is now gone and has been taken over by something. And as the party made its way down into the house, given this mission, I should say, by Scaran Wavechaser, who gave him this mission in the first place, the party began to notice some odd, peculiar things about the place. First of all, there were a lot of creepy crawlies around there, giant weasels, giant snakes, all that kind of thing that they had to deal with. But then when they got to the inside the house and moved to the stairs, some other odd things began to happen. For example, a screaming sound, which might have freaked out the party even more. It did, in fact, freak out Silvo and Brine. Morthwheel, seen this before. But Waves crashing against rocks was actually the one who was able to determine that the sound of the scream didn't sound quite right. The moaning didn't sound quite right. It sounded almost repetitive or mechanical. And as it turned out, when they went down the stairs, the sound then disappeared. Obviously was a warning to people to stay away. When they got down to that level, though, they found that there were other things there. A room that was filled with these crates, first of all, that they actually saw, and also a corpse that they found right in the middle of that room. And it was a corpse which was fine except for these swarms of maggoty rot grubs, which came out when I believe it was Brine that first came over to it. Or was it Morthwheel? Well, Morthwheel did. Oh, right, but Brine was affected by it, though. because I know there was at one point a maggot that got into Brian's leg, if I'm not mistaken.
That was Waves. I was too scared.
Yeah.
Oh, it
to
was
go-
Waves. That's right. It was Waves. I'm sorry. It was Waves who
we
had that
cut
happen
it
to her.
out
Brian
of
was
Waves'
too
leg.
scared. Waves had this happen to her, and so Waves had to burn/kill the thing from her leg, which she successfully did, and was able to remove it before too much great damage was done. What's up, Kilgore? So was able to do all of that, and so still very creepy, crawly, mysterious. And the party found a secret door that actually led down to a secret entrance that led into the room that you see before you. It was a room with a cellar with a bunch of these beds along the south wall, with a trestle with rickety stools in the center of the room, with a cook stove near the table, and a set of stairs. And when it was, I believe, although now I'm beginning to doubt myself because I got the characters wrong before, I think it was Morthwheel who came into the room first. Damn
It was
it.
me.
Oh, it's Brian.
Oh,
So
no,
it
it
was
was Brian.
Brian who actually came in and was ambushed. But the party was able to, and Brian actually went down at one point, but it was okay because the party was able to eliminate these people who were attempting to ambush them. And these people were definitely not undead and definitely were not ghosts of any kind. They were, in fact, your standard everyday smuggler thug types that had been trying to do something to the party. The party, being relatively weak after all of this and needing some rest, managed to go into this room that you see they are currently sitting in. And they found some cool stuff actually within that room. They discovered a wooden locker at its foot. They found a bullseye lantern, which may have something to do with signaling, because I believe it was Silvo who might have found it, or it was Mirthwheel, I can't remember, who ended up finding the instructions.
I rinsed that room.
Yeah, they found like the instructions basically for how the lantern was supposed to be used, and also found a spell book of kind within the room. And so all of that was great. They found all this information. They found some simple words and phrases in the common tongue and their equivalents in Goblin. They found a volume of erotic poetry, fully illustrated. Very important that we talk about that. We found all of that stuff, and a naval almanac too. And there was even a treatise concerning the demigod Ios and his minions. So we found all of that, and then, with the door closed, with them attempting to rest, they also heard someone enter the larger room, the cellar, and then they heard steps coming towards the door of the room in which they are found. And as we hand things back over to the party, I'm going to fire up the music here. Whoops. How about I actually fire up the music? I'm going to fire up our music, which is Haunted Cemetery. Make sure that's working. Hang on. There we go. That's exactly what we want. Perfect. Okay. And I'm going to hand things back over to the party. So you hear the sound of these steps coming towards the room. Party, what would you like to do?
Who is awake?
I think I'm resting at the moment.
Okay. I vaguely remember Waves waking up.
Yes,
and
I woke
don't
up and
know.
I was seriously like up again and looking good, everything fine.
You're just like, I'm fine. What's going on? And it's, if I remember correctly, pitch black in the room at the moment.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Mechanically speaking, had we taken a short rest? I know we hadn't taken a long rest, but think
Yes,
we
you
have-
will
I
have
think
taken
we
a
had
short.
taken a short.
Yes, you will have taken
Yeah.
a short rest. Yes, and
Yeah,
at
it
hit
doesn't
point
affect
wise,
me.
I have Waves. I'm sorry, Mike. I have Waves at 13
No.
out of 13. I have
Yes.
Silvo at 7 out of 8. I have Morthwheel at 11 out of 11. And Brian, I think I have you still at 7 out of 13. I don't know.
I've got 7 out of 13 on my character sheet.
Okay,
yeah.
that's what I thought. So just one reminder then. I don't know whether you used. Did you roll hit dice to restore that one? To restore your or not? Because if you're taking a short rest, you could use your hit die at this point, Brian, to try to I don't think you've used it yet. So you could roll a hit die to get some more hit points back.
I can't remember, but I will let you make the decision. As
If
the
the
Yeah,
offer's on the
GM.
table, I'd take it.
Yeah, I think you did. I think you have not used it yet, so I think you can use it. So you can roll your hit die, and as a fighter, I think that's a D8. So you could, if you wish, roll the D8 to see how many of your hit points you get back, and then your hit dice will be used up. But 5.
5.
All right. So
Excellent.
12 out of 13. Oh, actually, should be plus con, right? So
My con's +3, so that puts me up to full HP.
there you go. And your hit dice are used
Nice.
up, but now you are in a much better spot.
But you
So the
are
only one who's
healed.
slightly injured is Silvo, which should be fine, right? Silvo.
Yeah, I'm fine.
No problem.
Yeah, it's absolutely fine. I'm a sorcerer. I'm notoriously hardy.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. Exactly. Yeah, very, very made of tough stuff. Yes.
Mm,
Okay,
absolutely.
so now we know what the deal is. It is dark in the room, although I believe one of the points that chat made with some amusement is that a number of you would be able to see in the dark already, so it wouldn't be quite as dark theoretically.
Yes,
Um,
I know I can see in the dark. I assume that Morthwheel can see in the dark. But I don't
Morthwheel
know.
has dark vision.
Knowing nothing of Kenkus or Genassis, I have no idea if they would be able to see in the dark.
I
Well-
think there was no clarification about Gianassi, so I think we decided that they didn't have night vision because
that's
it
what I
didn't
figured
say
out.
that they did.
Excellent.
Well, the Kenkus don't, so I sit up and you can see me like slowly
just-
turning my
I
head,
do-
very obviously not seeing anything, and then doing a
I-
very low question and whistling sound. You know, like to see if somebody's there.
Okay. You hear it from the corner of the room. You're safe. It's okay. But remain quiet. Someone's coming.
Why not?
I'm
Going
being
this
very
way.
quiet.
Out of interest, when we opened this door here that I'm clicking on, which way did it open?
Just one quick note, first of all, before I answer that. Yeah, Rudnell's quite right. That should have been a 1d10, not a 1d8. My bad. But for Brian as a fighter, but it doesn't matter because you're full up anyway. But it would be a 1d10. But yeah, quite right, Rudnell. Sorry. So you're asking, what did you ask me? I'm sorry, Mike.
The door. Which way did the door open?
The door opens inwards towards you, and I think that you originally barred. I think you barred it or tried to like put some stuff
Oh,
across it to
yeah.
block it, as I recall.
Yeah, I wanted to say we tried to block it. I just want to make sure I'm behind it as it would open, if that makes
Mhm.
sense. So if it were to open towards the chair, then I'd move myself over there. But if not, then I'm going to keep myself here. I'm going to stand up and tuck myself into the corner as much as possible.
Okay, yeah, because the door
Um,
does open like this.
That's my keyboard.
So it like opens, hinged on the left side and then up.
I don't need to leave the call. Thank you. I
Um,
don't know how you always know the shortcut for that.
The door is hinged up to the left, right? So it is that way basically that you see
Okay,
it.
cool.
So but now
my,
there is stuff still in front of the door, I should say. Do you want to leave that
Yes.
stuff there?
No, what I want to do is I want to speak to the other party members, but I don't want to make any noise.
Okay.
So my telepathic ability, as a bonus action, I can reach out and talk to one character that I can see within so many feet. As it's a bonus action and we're not in combat, can I do that to all three party members?
Sure. I think you could do.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think you could do that.
Okay. So all three of you hear Silvo whispering directly into your ears. You need to wake up now. Someone's coming. Be ready.
Morthwheel had been sitting in a chair pointing a crossbow at the door while everyone was resting anyway. That's why he's where he is on the map. So he's just been sitting there sort of feet up, just like...
People who can see in the dark see that my eyes like widen and I open my beak and close it again and open my beak and close it again. And then I think really, really hard because I don't know. Maybe he can also hear my thoughts. What do I know? I think like light. I need light.
We'll get some light, don't worry. So from that I can hear you when you reply in your head.
Yeah, I'm not sure
Brian-
about this.
Yeah, Brian, you hear exactly the same thing. I'm hoping that this wakes you up, but I can't remember if you've already awoken or you're still unconscious.
Is
Um,
Brian? Yeah, I was gonna say, is
Aye.
Brian asleep?
Brian's going to like, obviously she was on alert even when she was resting, and she's going to. I can I tell the direct, because obviously I can hear Silvo's voice in my head. Do I know where he is in the room? Can I get a
No.
direction from it, or
You don't
do I
at
just
all.
not know
It's-
he's near the
it's-
door?
It's in your head. so you hear it as though you were wearing noise cancelling headphones.
Right.
Like you just hear it directly into both ears. Unfortunately, you don't, unless you can see, you don't get a good bead on where I am.
No, that's fine. In which case, I know which direction the door is because I know where I lay down. So I'm just going to get my crossbow out and point it in the direction of the door.
Okay, and as you do that, by the way, in the door you hear a and then Oi! This thing's not... bring that thing over here. It's not... What? Oi! And then... Whoa! This thing's locked. Well, go get Lord Sabalit then. He was just here. Well, go find him. No, I don't know. Tell him he needs to get in this room. Someone's locked it. Or maybe he did. I don't know. And then you see there's like this discussion back and forth about the door, with the door constantly jiggling. And you hear that there are a couple of people outside the door at the moment that seem to be talking to each other. And then one of them says, all right. And then you hear footsteps walking away, and someone else continues to jiggle the door. So if you were to interpret that, it seems pretty likely that someone has been sent to get Lord Sabalit, or something. And the other person is jiggle, 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 jiggle.
Did he describe it as this room or his room?
His room.
His room?
Yep.
So this is Lord Sabalit's room?
Apparently.
Crap.
The fancy robe in the wardrobe, not.
Yeah, fancy robe, the golden candelabra, the magic book. Yeah, fair
Yeah,
enough.
the codes.
Yeah, the codes, the lantern.
And then
all the loot.
You hear like
And the
something
naughty
banging.
book.
Maybe that's her scream that they were listening for might draw him away.
Maybe.
Jigga, 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 jigga. Damn.
Mothel nudges Waves.
Okay, so Waves not like nudges back because she's not sure you're sure. But
I don't know. I'm trying to think on the spot here. You usually don't have to think fast when you're fixing a ship. Do the scream, Waves. Do the scream.
Waves opens her beak and says,
Okay, so there's a moment's pause. How do I want this to be? I'm gonna have you make a deception check for me, Waves. We're gonna see how well you do with this.
yes. So,
I mean, whoever did that original
this is-
soundboard is obviously a voice actor
nailed
of
it.
discretion and talent.
Yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
So how this works is like this is Kenku mimicry. That's actually a skill for this, and I make a deception check to an opposed insight check for
outstanding.
this.
Okay.
Love Kenkus.
I just
I
need
love
to-
Kenkus. I'm officially making a Kenku.
Just asking in case does anybody in chat have inspiration because, well, we're gonna see. I'm just gonna.
If anyone
Come
has
on.
inspiration,
Deception. This is natural one.
Thank you for the resub, Lone Wolf. 30 months in GOG and deception. So there's a long pause and then, oi, who's in there? Chugga, 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 chugga. Who's screaming like that? Chugga, 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 chugga.
I just shrug my shoulders.
You let me in here right now. Chugga, 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 chugga. Whoever that is. Chugga, chugga, chugga. Let's go. Chugga, 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 chugga. Look, I'm going to get some others. They're going to get this door open. Chugga, 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 chugga. Come on. All right. Oh, Lone Wolves wants to inspire Waves. Yeah. Let's see. Did you have... All right, Waves. This is the last time this is the last time I'm going to do this because I'm being super friendly and but I'm in a good mood. I will let you take that inspiration that Lone Wolf has generously given you.
Thank you so much, Lone Wolf. Let's
Thank
scream
you,
again
Lone
like an Arf Banshee. Come on. 12.
Can I cast guidance?
You could.
I probably should. I should have declared it before.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, and now an insight check to see whether this is.
Okay, yeah. Now I gotta make that roll. Hold on a second, though. I just want to make sure.
I will just scream again in the meantime. Thanks very much for Memories and 8-bit for making the sound effect, by the way.
Wow. Okay, so there's a
Absolutely.
so never mind the you're in there thing. So you hear that, and then there's a blimey, what? Hey, I'll go with you to find him. And you hear footsteps, walking away from the door, and then there is silence.
Again, in your heads, you hear, "We should move now. Let's go." And you hear like a scraping of furniture off in the distance as I start to move the furniture that's blocking the door. If
Okay.
I can, I'd like to move here, and I'd like to try and open the door a crack and see if there's anybody there.
Okay. When you open the door a crack, you do not see anyone outside.
Okay.
Seems to be deserted at the moment.
Going to, as stealthily as I can, poke my head out of the door so I can see at least to about this point.
Yeah, the room seems to be exactly the way it was when you left it before. You don't see anybody there.
Cool. Light spills into the room from outside. Presumably, you guys can now see where there is a door in darkness.
Yes.
And
I now see the
Silver's
room for the
slightly
first
disheveled.
time because I was
Yes.
unconscious when I was
That's right,
carried
actually, yeah.
in.
Yeah, yourself.
So I would also like to have Waves have at least like a quick look around so that she also knows this room.
Morthail left the wardrobe with the very fancy trench coat in it open, so that would have been visible.
Okay, so that I know at least I'm not gonna like search the room like now square by square, but just at least have a quick look around.
Okay, so you get
Like,
the general sense of what I've described previously.
Yeah.
There's also
so
these
that
things leading up to the trapdoors and everything in the beds and all that kind of stuff. And there's a door. There's also a door down here to the east.
One marked
Okay.
danger.
That's right.
Yeah, don't get open inside.
Nice try.
There's also a door that's really.
There's a door here, guys. It's only barred
Look, it's
from
a
the
door.
outside. It's fine.
It's the emergency exit. Look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It says
In-
exit. It's just written in undercommon as
This
danger.
way for a good time.
did the footsteps move in that direction into the danger door?
I'm trying
Do
to
we
think whether
know?
you'd be able to notice.
Did we hear another door?
You did not hear another door, no.
Because we'll have heard if this door's is this door barred? To our
The door on this side has a bar over it, yes.
yeah.
It's a
So
wooden
they didn't
bar.
bar it afterwards.
It looks like
Yeah,
it'll be
they
easily
wouldn't
lifted,
afterwards.
but yeah.
Yeah, I'm
was definitely
sure
locked.
as much as you try and sugarcoat us going in that door, it's not going to happen right now.
I point towards that door.
No, danger.
maybe we should-
No.
Retrace ourselves.
Morthail points towards the sign on the door.
Something is locked in there for a reason. We're not going in there yet. What do the beds look like?
The beds themselves are pretty rough and ready. They do look like they have been used recently. There are sort of like sheets and kind of ratty mattress and pillow that's on the top of it. As you're sort of looking at the bottom of it, you can see that there is a wooden locker at the foot of each of these beds. So you can see those for sure, but otherwise the beds themselves have been used, but are not in particularly good condition.
Okay. Could we hide under the beds?
You can try. They're pretty low, though.
Are they?
They probably are not going to be. They're pretty low. You might be able to sneak. Let's say. I think even Morthwill would have a hard time. I don't. You may not be able to.
Okay. As a character who's used to sneaking into very small enclosed spaces and staying there undetected, he's just like, Silver's just like, let's just hide under the bed until they go away.
Yeah. Or under the sheets, maybe.
Before you came to the door, I overheard someone talking about that screaming staircase. Stands to reason they may be over there looking for us, so mayhaps we go up the other trapdoor.
We go to the trapdoor. Yeah, I reckon we go to the trapdoor.
I point at the danger door for one last time. Maybe it's convincing now.
We'll come back to the danger door. Don't worry. Right now, we need to go safety.
Can I have a
You're
listen
welcome
the
to
danger
check
door?
it, but we're having a rough time of it.
Safe first, valor later.
Go ahead, Brian.
Can I have a listen at the danger door?
Sure, absolutely you can. Go ahead and make a perception check for me, please.
19.
Wow.
So when you listen here, you just sort of listen very carefully, and you don't really make out any sound from there at all. It seems very quiet.
I can't hear anything.
So, Waves nods emphatically.
No, that doesn't mean there's nothing in there. It's barred for a reason.
Bullshit.
I don't think it's gonna lead anywhere.
Prisoners could be in there, I suppose. And this was an alchemist's house. Maybe it was his old lab.
And let me just check my memory bank so I can remember what the guy's name was. Canis said that there was a rumor that there were slavers up here, so maybe they do have prisoners that we aren't aware of. But I think I'd probably be able to hear them. Maybe save ourselves first, investigate in a bit.
I like that idea. The pirate has the best idea. I second the pirate.
Waves looks one last time longingly at the door and then shrugs and moves towards the room with the bats.
We will get to the door with the bar on it. Don't worry.
Okay,
I am not dying in this house.
You're heading for this, or you're heading for this?
I trapdoor.
This or this?
This.
Okay,
I thought
so you are
I'm
headed towards
heading
it.
for this.
Okay.
I'm walking towards the trapdoor this way.
You say
As
you're
I've
heading
been
towards the
speaking-
secret door, Brian?
Yes, I'm heading towards this
Oh.
trapdoor here.
Oh, okay. No, that's right. I thought. Never mind.
Okay.
That's all good. All right.
Okay. So
As we reach that, is that scout's body still there?
yes. Wait a minute. Let me think about that. No, because I'm pretty sure you moved the scout's body. I want to say.
No, I don't think we did.
Maybe not.
I think it was searched because we desperately needed a healing
No, that's
potion.
right. And actually, I know
Yeah, we
why.
searched
I was
it.
trying to remember why they didn't see that. Now I remember, because he was up the stairs. You may remember that he was
Yeah.
trying to get up the stairs, and you shot him down there, so that's why they didn't see him. Okay. Because I was
Yeah.
like, why would they? That's why. So yes, then the body
Okay.
is still there.
Okay. Silvo stands for a very long moment looking at the body, and just seems completely oblivious to everything around him.
Waves looks at him suspiciously, because after he spoke in her mind, she's a bit unsure. Maybe now necromancy is the next step.
There is a look of very deep sadness in Silvo's face.
Both of us
Still-
trying the trap door.
Okay. So when you go up to the trap door, I need to make sure whether it's locked or not.
Or trapped.
Yeah, exactly. Or trapped.
Of course it's trapped. It's a trapdoor.
It's a trapdoor.
Haha. I see what you did there.
Don't you open that trap door.
What a show! What a show!
You're a fool if you dare.
Sorry, this is not making sense to me. Where this map?
It was a TV show.
But feed me.
Genuinely gonna have to find the trapdoor theme song now on YouTube. This is for the benefit of everybody in chat, including our non-European compatriots.
I'm not understanding at all what this thing is telling me it's actually connected to. Oh. Okay, I got it. All right. I was very confused about that. All right. So, you come up to the trapdoor, Morthwill, And when you reach the trapdoor and you reach your hand up, suddenly you hear, as you touch the trapdoor, you hear a loud, booming, malevolent voice saying, "Welcome, fools! Welcome to your deaths!" It booms
I'm going
through
to
the whole
turn
cellar.
to.
I say, well, it didn't do that when the scout were trying.
I will need the 4 of you to make a wisdom saving throw for me, please.
Welcome to your doom.
Welcome to die.
Welcome to
Writhe
death.
from your grave.
Wisdom
Welcome
saving
to your
throw.
doom.
Wisdom saving throw, that is right.
Ugh.
Ryan with a 9.
18.
Let's see. We've got Morthwill with an 18. Waves with a 17. And Silvo.
With an 8.
So, once again, the Scooby-Doo Shaggy combo. So both of you are freaked out by this sound, and it does remind you a little bit of what it is that you experienced before. And so that means you are both have disadvantage on ability checks for now, or you're both frightened. You have
I
disadvantage
hate this
on
house. I
ability
hate
checks
this
for an
house.
hour.
Every single brick in this goddamn place. This hell's forsaken house. I hate every single thing in this house. I want to leave. I have a golden candelabra. We know that there's crazy stuff going on here. Let's just leave.
And let's just say, if you need to go to the bathroom, you should probably wait till we're outside.
Mate, I'm wearing brown trousers. It doesn't matter. I've done this twice already. All right, I'm covered in my own mess, in Anders' blood, a lot of Brian's blood, and God knows what from God knows who. I just want to get out of here. I'm happy in an alleyway. Right, I'm more happy in a cutthroat-filled alleyway than I am in this place. I just want to go home.
It just, by the way, Morthwill says that once and then laughs and then it dies away.
Well, they probably heard that as well.
Brian is going to do a slight role reversal and do the Scooby-Doo jump into Silvo's arms this time. And they go, I prefer the idea of the danger door. Can we just go in the danger door instead?
Waves nods.
Whatever we're going to do, we need to do it fast.
Waves is also really confused by
Silvo's
all of
legs
this.
just start buckling slightly. And he just
I mean, Morthal's just frozen in place holding the trap door at this point because he's not going to make the first move right now.
Okay, I'm gonna get out of Silvo's arms and I'm kind of backing away from this trapdoor, kind of with my crossbow out, like trying to puff up my shoulders, like I've seen do. Like how birds fluff up their feathers when they try and look big. I'm backing away from this door.
I'm pretty sure it's just a magical duplication, like a little party trick. But there's probably a welcoming party converging on it at the moment.
I look down the stairs, if there's stairs. Whatever there is, I'm looking down.
Okay, they're looking. Actually, you'd be looking up them because they're up to the trap door. So these stairs go
the
up.
trapdoor is above?
Above you, yes. The trapdoor is up in the ceiling.
Oh, I thought they were coming out of the floor.
No,
No,
they're
we're in
leading
the
up.
basement.
Yeah, I thought there was like the basement's basement or something like that, That was my thinking. The secret basement of the basement in a haunted house. That could have been. Okay, then I look up.
Are there any wall sconces or anything like that? Any hooks I can try and pull to see if I can find a better door out here?
There are a few of those that you could try to do that with, as you kind of go around the outside.
There is a desperate, almost childlike panic in Silvo's face as he just scrabbles to let's imagine it. He just scrabbles to this wall and just pulling on these candles. And he's like, nope. Runs over here, just pulling on a fixture. Nope. Runs over here. And starts pulling on stuff and hammering different coloured stones. He's like, there's gotta be a way out of here, guys. There's gotta be a way out of here.
Okay,
just carry on doing that.
So Waves, when you look up, you see basically just Morthwill kind of was frozen and then kind of steps away and moves down from the stairs. So you see the closed trap door above you. And that's pretty much all that you can obviously see in the ceiling. Let's see. I will ask you to make an investigation check from me, Silvo, as you are frantically running around, pulling everything that you can pull and pushing every gem and kicking stones. And
by all means, this was just a desperate attempt. I actually had a mouthful of food then, sorry. Investigation check, there we go.
But while eating around you.
15.
So Silvo, as you're making your way around, you finally are like, anyone, and there's one of those moments where like, the Princess Bride where he finally puts his hand on the tree knot and it just suddenly pushes in. And so more or less that happens here, or at least sort of, where Silvo ends up right in the corner. There is an empty sconce that you pull on, and suddenly opens up to reveal an area below.
By the blessed beard of the cob.
I mean, I'm not looking for the term savior or hero, but I think we should leave and then thank me later.
Aye, they'll know we come this way though.
I am already through the door.
I mean, me backing away from the trapdoor meant that I saw this open, and I'm already kind of like legging.
Oh, goody! It goes deeper.
That's exactly. The stairs go deeper. And you can see that you also feel there's, as you're sort of looking at the top of these stairs, you can feel a kind of a damp coldness kind of flowing up these stairs to you, Silvo.
A damp coldness, like... Is it fresh air?
No, but there is the kind of tang of slight salt.
Is it sea air?
Yes.
Is it? Oh, okay.
It does,
okay.
but it seems also really musty. Like it's not, it is sea air, but it doesn't look like it's like, here's the sea right here. But
yeah,
I'm going to stealth my way to this corner and peek my head around.
I would like you to make a stealth check for me, please. And I would like to ask the others what the three of you are doing besides. I know you said you were moving in that direction, but go ahead, Morgan.
Morthoil is going to go through the door and look to see if he can find a way to close it from his side.
Okay. Make an investigation check for me, please.
Okie dokie. I'm going to put guidance on myself. Just give myself a little tap of the magic lockpick.
I'm going to try and get through this door before Morthoil tries to close it.
So that would be a 21 with my guidance bonus.
Okay. Yes, you do in fact find on the other side there is a sort of brick that is out of place, a stone which is out of place that you could press. And when you press it, you have this moment where Brian sneaks through and then and suddenly Waves is just on the other side of the room. Waves is like looks around. There's nobody in the room.
You glorious tiny engineer, you.
It's just empty.
Oh, before I do anything else, I think Wave should be allowed to react to that.
I just stare at all of you people suddenly running through a secret door that was there for a moment, and then it closes. Like with no warning.
You hear we got rid of the
Bye.
bird. Yeah, on the other side.
So is the door
Okay, I very carefully, because I don't want to be smacked on the face with a secret door, walk towards the door.
Okay.
And wait for a moment, because maybe they're gonna open it again. I don't know.
Are Morthwheel, are you going to reopen?
Well, I
it?
noticed that Waves didn't make it through the door, so I poked the same brick again to see if I
Okay,
get
and
the
it
same
does
result.
and opens up again.
Oh,
And you can see,
I'll look
you
at
can see
you
a rather
with a
confused
question
looking
in my
Waves.
eye.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Hey, sorry about that. Thought you were right behind us.
I come inside now.
I poked the brick again.
Okay, so a couple of notes here to make as you all come in. The door closes behind you. This area, as I mentioned, feels damp and colder. And you note that the walls themselves, as you get sort of farther down the stairs, Silvo, are slimy. And right at the bottom of the stairs that you're looking at, there's what looks like some kind of a crude straw mat that's been placed down here. And you're not 100% sure until you put your foot on the top stair and it kind of slips a little bit. These are damp walls and a damp floor. And it looks like someone has put matting here to kind of, make it easier to get traction, basically. So that would be the assumption anyway. As you sort of go farther down, you can see that this opens up into what is obviously a cavernous area. The walls themselves are very much, pretty much natural. Again, there is, as I mentioned, this like the sliminess of the stuff. You see some moss actually in several places as well on the walls. A couple of mushrooms grow here and there on the ground, and that's what you're able to determine.
Is there light down here?
There is. Let me double check on that actually, whether they have that. There is not light right here. You think, although it's you wouldn't be able to see anything from here. No, it's dark right where you are now.
So we can smell like the sea on a breeze basically right now, and it's a bit slimy in here.
Yeah, you can't smell. Yes, that's right. You can smell a little bit of salt. That's right. Yes.
Didn't Callis mention something about a secret tunnel or back entrance into this place that he stumbled upon?
You did indeed.
I mean, he also mentioned vampire rats, but...
I mean, weasels could be mistaken for vampire rats.
That's true.
By the way, I can't move because I can't see where I'm going. I'm reluctant to light up.
Morphoil pulls out his tiny glowing stone and passes it over.
Thank you.
It does light a 4-foot radius with a dim light, I think it was.
Okay. I love the idea that it's barely enough to just be the spot in front of her. Like, it's fine. You can see just a little bit into the dark.
I'm helping.
I'm gonna stand as close as I can to.
Sorry, it's bright light for a 5-foot radius and dim for another 5.
Oh, all right. Okay, that gives you a
Perfect.
little more room to work with
I'm
then.
still gonna stand as close to Waves as possible because I understand it. Waves doesn't have night vision either. So I'm going to try and hold this. I nod very, very graciously to Morphwill and try and hold this stone between us so we can try and make our way down the slippery stairs.
Yeah, and it's not too slippery that you would slip when you're paying attention, but if you're trying to make your way up or down quickly, that could be problematic.
Morphill would like to make his way up to the front with Silvo to preserve his dark vision.
Okay.
So he's probably going to be up around here. Just behind Silvo, who is looking around the corner, or trying to, I believe.
Yeah, I'm just kind of peeking my head around the corner and seeing what I can see.
So
I can see slime and reeds. It's about all I can see.
Pretty much. And there is definitely, the cavern sort of extends to the southwest, and the passageway goes to the southwest, and then there's a passage here to the east that you can see leading off this way.
Well, I can see us not dying right this second, which is a bonus. But we now have a passageway that leads 2 ways.
I'll take death later over death now any day. I've been putting off death for a couple 100 years at this point, so I'm not keen on getting in some practice.
Man, I've been putting it off for about the last 4 hours or so. I don't know. How long have we known each other?
Aye, yes. Definitely more eventful than fixing anchor chains, I can tell you that.
Yeah. So, we have a left and we have a right. And I look over to Brian and Waves as well. We have a left and a right. What do you think?
Can I kind of move as close as I can to this gap here between here without kind of obstructing Silvo or Morthwill's night vision? And can I listen intently to see if I can hear something in either direction?
Sure. Yes, indeed. You can do that. So go ahead and move your character there.
And you cast this point, the corridor goes, so you have come down the secret passage!
Finish that.
You can now be found in the following... Yeah.
I'd look over to Waves and Brian. If it's a problem, like, we can light a torch. That's not an issue. Like, if you guys, because I kind of motion up and down to the weapons that they're carrying. You guys should probably be in the front.
I rummage.
See if anyone's down here first.
All right,
I rummage in my backpack and pull out. Looking at my list. One moment. A hooded lantern.
Oh, excellent.
All right. Let's
I
change
don't-
this music up a little bit.
Apparently,
too.
somebody with lots of feathers is not really a good friend of torches.
I do have a torch in my inventory, but okay. Maybe we should make sure there's no one down here before we make our presence known.
I show how you can use the hood of the lantern to make it light up or not light up.
Perfect. All right. Can I listen down either one of these corridors?
Yes.
Both,
so go ahead and make. Yeah, go ahead. And make a
Silvo
perception.
take the bullseye lantern as well, or was it left? I mean, I'm assuming Silvo because he was purloining everything else.
No, I absolutely pocketed that.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So I believe you.
We had a bit of a conversation about exactly what I could fit in my.
That's right, because I came in and you were like trying to Tetris everything.
Yeah, yeah. I basically have half a candelabra sticking out of it at the moment. I have the bullseye lantern on my hip. Basically, I'm a walking bazaar at this point.
And whilst you're talking about the bullseye lantern, Brian also pipes up. I did make a note as well of the code. Long, short, short, short. Is it safe? Short, long, short. Everything's safe. Long, long, long. Unload. So maybe we should keep that close in case we need to signal someone else.
Silvo
I
just
kept
taps
the books.
Perfect. Okay, do you want me to roll for both corridors or one?
No,
roll
one should do for both. But make a perception check for me, and let's see what there is stuff that's there.
I'm decidedly unperceptive.
You're just like, yeah, you're like, you definitely hear dripping of water, and you hear kind of, and then you realize that's Silvo behind you, who's still kind of looking around the corner.
You just hear this like thumping, and you just like you can see like cartoon-esque like Silvo's heart just pounding in his chest.
I should have rolled that with disadvantage anyway, but because I'm
right, because you're
frightened,
frightened?
but
Yes,
I don't
that's
think
right.
I can get lower than 5. I can try.
Yeah, go ahead and do it anyway. I'm just curious. Okay.
Yeah,
no,
five's
it's all right.
five's the lowest.
I had this image of you being like, you've gone deaf completely, of no knowledge
Yeah,
of
I
anything.
fell down the stairs and now I'm blind too.
I see nothing.
You will be able to repeat that check, by the way, in about another 10 minutes or so game time. So just I'll try to remember to remind you and Silva both that you can redo that. Okay, so yeah, you hear nothing except just the sort of dripping of the caverns around you.
I can't hear anything. It just sounds wet. If we go east, it's kind of towards where the danger door was. If we go west, we're kind of getting towards the outskirts of where the house lies. I think if we're going to try and find anything, we do need to go east.
Waves also points into the east direction.
Go east, like this way east?
Yeah, east.
East or Greyhawk East.
East, or yeah, east or not east.
Okay.
East as far as I can see on the map.
I'm underground. How the hell do you people know what direction it is? Is it left or right? just pick one.
So I was just wondering about
direction.
whether dwarves had like a racial thing for knowing where they are underground, but it might be a different sub-species of dwarf than the one I am.
Yeah, we need to double check that and see. I'm not sure.
Yeah, there was nothing specific because I'm hill dwarf and there was nothing specifically noted, but I'm sure again, lots of different RPGs in my head. It's got in there from somewhere.
Yeah. I make sure I'm firmly behind the two people with swords. Like
Astronomal is looking quickly, which I appreciate, Astronomal, while I'm doing these other two things.
I'm leaning towards no for now because otherwise I'm sure there would have been a note saying that you, as this species, you will know where you are at all times.
Yes.
So for Waves, this is like direction of the danger door. She doesn't really think like it's east, but direction of the danger door.
Is this why you want to go this way?
Yes.
I knew it. Okay. Well, I've been through. Silver's been through a secret passageway down a slippery staircase and is now behind two fighters. He's just like, I don't care which way we go. It's just left or right. Just pick a direction. Just go away. Go a way.
Okay, I start moving slowly forward with a drawn rapier in the one hand and the hooded lantern in the other.
Yeah, so dwarves don't.
I'm going to say, hold up a sec, my feathered friend. Maybe you need a bit of assistance there. I would like to cast guidance.
Okay. You can do that. And yes, you don't have that ability, Morthwill.
No. Some games I've played once at some point.
Yeah.
So I'd like to cast guidance on Waves. So I'm just waiting for Waves to agree or disagree.
I agree. And
Okay.
then I'll continue walking slowly forward until there's another choice to make.
And you're attempting to be stealthy as you do this, yes?
Yes, I want to be stealthy.
So go ahead and make a stealth check for me, please, as you reach.
I so will. This character is so much stealthier than Greta. That's at least a thing. Well, no.
You could. Don't forget, you can elect to add guidance though, but you can choose to save it.
Yeah. How do I add guidance?
Roll a d4 and add the score.
Yeah, I think I should maybe do this. I didn't think how this works. 1d4, come on. No, it's not doing it.
So you so you move in that direction, and after a moment, Brian, you notice that there's kind of and then you realize it's the claws of the lower claws of Waves is just scratching along the stone as you gradually make your way there, kind of echoing alarmingly. Let's see if I can.
She's Waves. It's. Would you like me to go in front?
I make a movement to show that I am sneaking. And that actually, by sneaking and moving like that, I make it worse.
What I'm going to do is, can I please, because I'm still holding the glowy crystal that Morthwell gave me,
right?
But Waves has the lantern, so I'm going to hand the crystal back to Morthwell, so I can draw both of my scimitars, put my crossbow away, because I've got a feeling that this sound is going to attract something. So I'm following very closely behind, but I'm also keeping an ear out to see if I can hear anything from the other direction.
Okay. So when you get to this, basically right about here, again you have another, as you said, choice to make. The passageway extends up to the northeast, and then also continues down here to the south.
With the mats that are down.
Yes, and they are here every so often. Basically, there are some mats on the ground.
Are there any recent footprints or evidence that they've been used recently? Are they wet? Are they
well, they are wet, but that's kind of a general condition. Make an investigation check for me, though. Let's see if you note anything else.
13.
There definitely is traffic on these mats. There's no question that there are people moving over, and you can see that they're kind of in the middle, especially. They're sort of dirty, and there are different boot prints and footprints and stuff that you can see on each of these mats. But it's hard to tell if it's recent, like very recent. It obviously is recent within the last, year to 6 months or whatever. Unclear if it's recent as in within the last 10 to 15 minutes. That's not clear.
Is there one path that is trodden more than the others that is obviously used more?
No, looks like both of them are used fairly extensively.
Okay.
Also, you and Silvo can now both repeat your wisdom saving throw here.
Okay.
I would like to cast guidance on Silvo, since Brian's already rolled.
Marvelous, thank you. Wisdom saving throw.
Brian is still really scared.
I'm only scared of that trapdoor, though, right?
Right. Oh yeah, that's the only thing you're afraid of. No, you're generally afraid.
Well, you can add a d4 if you want to, or you can save it for later.
I will add a d4 because I don't know what the DC is, so that's a 19.
Silvo, you feel a little better now. It feels to you as if now that, sort of to Brian's point, now that you've moved away from where the scary voice came, you feel a little better. Brian, it still echoes in your memory and in your mind.
I just want to get as far away from that trapdoor as possible, which is why I'm following so closely behind Waves.
Exactly.
I just look over to Morthwell. I'm like, I'm feeling considerably, surprisingly calmer, considering there are so many passageways where something could come out and eat us at any second. I just hope this lasts. This weird calm. Is this what it's like to just before you die? Is there like a grim acceptance of life? I move slightly forwards. I'm almost hugging the wall, by the way, just so you know. He's
Okay.
like cartoon Scooby-Dooing, like scooting along the wall.
Right.
I'm still trying to find the slaves. So I'm listening in. Just maybe I hear them. I don't know.
Make a
Typical
perception.
typical sad slave sounds. I don't know. Something.
Sad
Typical
slaves.
sad slave.
Oh my God.
We're sad
22.
slaves. You do not hear the sound of sad slaves. You think you might hear, although it's a little bit difficult to tell for sure, there is an echoing sound, and the echoing sound seems to be of kind of a...
Is it a sound of waves crashing against rocks?
It is, in fact, waves. It's not crashing against rocks, but there are waves. The problem is because of the echo, it's hard to tell what direction they're coming from, because it's sort of, roughly speaking, here, which really doesn't help you, because you don't know if that means east or south, but like there's some kind of sound coming of what sounds like waves. It's also somewhat distant, but you can definitely hear it a little bit.
I will move further in the direction of the danger door.
So straight east is the plan?
Straight east is my plan.
Okay. And everyone else is continuing to follow?
I'll stop then and look back to see if they're following, or maybe they open another secret door and disappear. What? No, just.
I like the idea that you're suspicious now that they'll just always disappear into a secret door.
You never know.
Seeing that these caves are a bit more extensive, Morthal started to take a bit of interest in stereotypical fashion, the stonework.
Mm-hmm. Yes, the stonework here, Morthwill, is absolutely natural. But there are several places where you can find what looks almost like worked stone. And a lot of it looks like, especially you thought about this coming down out of the stairs, back here, that the area that you came out of clearly was sort of shaped, and the natural cavern opening must have been widened into this spot. So most of what you are down here is in it's a natural cavern for sure, and natural rock passageways, but some of these also look to have been widened clearly by the work of either humans or dwarves. More likely humans. This is a little sloppy for dwarves, frankly.
Would it be possible to tell how long ago this work was carried out?
Some time ago, some years, but it's unclear whether it's many, you don't know if it's like 50 years or like, it could be 5 years, a few years, or it could be a little longer. Definitely not ancient, for sure.
No dwarf worth his salt carved these. Wouldn't been seen dead putting his name on them.
Is there light emitting from any of these new tunnels?
Yes. Now I can tell you that indeed there is. There is actually light flickering from here. Some light is flickering from here.
I used the hood on the lantern.
Okay.
And then I stealth further forward.
All right, go ahead and make another stealth check for me, please.
Can't cast guidance on this, you're out of touch range.
It's gonna be fine. See? It's a natural 20.
Waves just silently moves forward.
I just needed that little hint from Brian what I was doing wrong.
Yeah. Now you can use your soundboard to make
waves
no
have just
sound at all.
disappeared and Brian's shocked.
Yeah, exactly.
I've just got this mental image as well of waves like teetering backwards and like her heels so that her claws aren't hitting the ground.
Right,
Like tottering like this in perfect silence.
Yes. I'm moving like with tiny bird steps, but in a very fluid motion, like this little like
Yeah, you move
moving forward in silence.
You absolutely move completely silently. Welcome, 8-Bit. I'm sorry to hear about the migraine, man. So you were able to make your way. Where are you stealthing to again, Waves?
I moved my character
Okay.
in according to my stealthing.
So when you move here, you can see that this opens up again into several areas. And the light that you saw is flickering from down here somewhere. But there is also some light flickering from underneath what looks to be a straight black curtain, which is hanging right here.
Ooh, in the direction of the danger door. Haha. Okay, I'm looking back to see if anybody is following me.
I am following as stealthily as I can. Obviously, it's just almost disappeared.
Does Mothor notice that Waves is moving towards the glittering light?
I would assume.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
Absolutely.
So just sort of mutters to anyone who'll listen. I swear she must be part magpie.
I'm gonna stealth after Waves.
Okay, make a stealth check for me, please.
Oh, sneaky. Not quite as sneaky as
So
Waves.
So you're
Should
going
not have extinguished
after,
that lamp.
and then it's just like, doosh, 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 and the boot sort of. You hear Waves. You're so intent on your target that then you're sort of a little taken aback when you suddenly hear, doof, 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 like walking up behind you, echoing from behind you, and you look around to see Brian looking at you, maybe sheepishly.
Okay, I look at her with slight doubt because this is not a claw problem, very obviously.
Sorry. I've got my different boots on today.
I nod in a way of I'm sure you know what you're talking about, and wait for the rest to catch up, and then I will point towards the black curtain,
Which again is right here.
Okay.
Can I see anything down this southern cavern wall?
Yeah, when you
That's
go
what
a
I
little
thought
bit
so.
further, or when you look a little bit further down here, this down here seems to be leading to another larger cavern of some kind, some larger chamber. But you can't quite make out. You need to get a little farther in there to be able to see exactly what might be down
Nope, hard pass. Going straight back to the safety of between Brian and Mothra.
there. Okay.
Hugging the wall.
I'm gonna say I know I understand what you mean, but maybe we need to just make sure that there's not going to be no surprises behind the curtain. Can I kind of obviously I don't realize exactly how loud I'm being. Can I listen at this curtain to see if I can hear or smell or ascertain anything?
Yes. I will ask you to make another stealth check as you go up to that curtain. Please.
Okay. Oh, I better roll that time. 22.
Oh, there we go. All right. So you're able to get right up next to the curtain, which indeed is just sort of flowing slightly, in the breeze, Brian. There's a little bit of wind coming from not the other side of it, but actually you can feel now where you are. And Brian, I think you should be right about there, right? I just want to make sure, is that where because you went up to the curtain?
Yep, sorry, yeah,
No,
I've
it's
gone
fine,
up
that's
to the
fine.
curtain.
So you can hear from down here, you can now hear this. So there's definitely the sound of waves, not your waves, but waves of the ocean coming from down here. And you can also feel the sort of coldness, but the air smells fresher from down here. Here, and there's a little bit of a breeze through here that just stirs the edge of this curtain. You sort of you're just kind of waiting there next to the curtain. Now what I need you to do is to make a perception check for me, please.
10.
Yeah, you're not sure. You definitely get the feeling there's just, you feel like there may be something on the other side. I mean, in the room generally, but you don't know exactly what it might be, and you don't hear anything as of yet.
I'm going to turn around to the others and in an almost inaudible whisper say, I can't hear anything behind the curtain, but I think the sea is that way.
As you say that, and Waves, you're looking at this, Waves, you're the first to note that something comes thrusting through the curtain. It is a scimitar, and it is aimed at Brian's back. So we're going to see whether or not this hits. That is a terrible roll. Wow. At advantage, and the best roll that we ended up with there was a, wait for it, a 9, which I don't think is going to hit you, right, Brian?
Oh, thank goodness
so
for
like
that.
this scimitar like comes right out to the left side of you, like barely misses you, and you hear God, like something cursing, and then the curtain is thrown aside, and you find yourselves looking at this. There are people here, and the one who just tried to skewer you with the scimitar is looking very angry at the fact that it did not actually work. But behind him, you actually can see there is someone with a ranged weapon, a bow, and striding forward, as the sound is made, striding forward with a longsword is a large, brutish-looking creature. This looks very much to you, because you've seen them before, like a hobgoblin. And here I would like everybody, please, to roll for me, little thing we like to call initiative. Let's get going.
Oh, bollocks.
I don't want to die in this place. I don't want to die in this place.
Oh, wait a minute. No, we have our own music, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, there we go. The same music for the video. Want to make sure that I use the actual combat music that we have here. Okay.
Use the theme song.
We should have
That's
taken
what
the
I'm doing.
danger door. We should have taken the danger door. All the evil people are here.
This is the danger door.
No, it's not.
You said to go towards the danger
You've
door.
just found the boss room.
Danger door would have been better. I knew it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I clicked my token before I rolled. I don't know why that didn't do that.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I was wondering. I was like, what happened here? That's all right. I
Yeah,
will.
sorry about that. I definitely clicked my token and then clicked the initiative. But I do have my character sheet popped out. I don't know if that makes any difference.
Yeah,
I
it
have my
might.
character sheet popped out as well.
Oh, okay.
I had mine popped out.
Yeah.
So then it was
definitely
just you,
doing
Mike.
Yeah, it was just me. Okay.
Okay.
Figures.
I went to the danger zone. Exact, GB. All right. I like bad initiative rolls. The attacks will be better. Oh, really? Interesting. That's a interesting way of looking at it. Okay.
Sometimes going second
I'll
does
take
help.
that.
It
Or
can. For
Fourth
sure.
or fifth.
Yeah, it can. Well, if we were playing Talisman like we were last week, you have the opportunity to make those decisions. But okay, unfortunate, Silvo, that that you will also remain frightened. That's less good.
No, I don't, do I? I thought I rolled past that.
Silver overcame it.
Oh no,
Brian
it's
is
just
frightened.
Brian. Sorry,
Yeah,
my
yeah,
bad.
Brian.
It's Brian.
I'm frightened.
I mean,
That's
if
fine.
you want to swap that around, I'm pretty sure Brian will probably need that more than
Yeah.
I will.
No, I think we're all good. Okay, so just a moment as I get the actual monsters arranged.
You're getting monsters as well.
No, these monsters. I mean, for the moment. Let's see. Who
To
knows
be
what
fair,
the
we
future...
don't know they're monsters. We haven't spoke to them.
Exactly, that's true. Maybe they're just totally friendly. And
Maybe they think we're the pirates.
right. From my point of view, the Sith are evil.
Brian-
The
Brian is the pirate. Brian is the pirate.
Oh, yeah. Well, technically isn't Waves as well.
No, I'm a sailor.
Oh, okay.
Well, we don't know.
Yeah. No, you don't mix those two up.
No, I'm sorry.
That's how you really wind people up. I've seen many a tavern brawl start over calling a sailor a pirate.
Okay. Hey, chat, is the music too loud? Or players, is the music too loud?
It's not too loud for me. I can't hear it.
Music's fine for me.
Music is a bit loud for me.
Okay, thank you.
Mine's just my Chrome, I think.
There we go. That's better. I just want to make sure I cut it down.
I'm just going to refresh Roll20.
Oh, it said level is okay? Oh, all right. Well, there we go. We'll split the difference. All right.
There we go.
Right. So we'll have this one go like that. All right. And then we're going to have that.
Oh, I don't like it when he plots things.
And then we're going
It's
to
one of the worst sounds whenever we play is Arv thinking. I just don't. There's things never like when he ad libs stuff. It's fine and it works out all right for everyone. But when he actually thinks about stuff, we're screwed.
Implying that most of the time what I do is just wing it. Is that what you're saying?
It's. I mean, it's considered winging it, but it's
Um,
very good winging it.
Oh well, thank you, man. I'm glad.
Oh,
Thank you.
creativity.
Okay, right. All right, let's get moving here. We begin with this Hobgoblin, which is the first to act. The Hobgoblin is perhaps a little annoyed at his companion for missing a very obvious right in front of him sort of thing, is going to stride forward, slip past the bandit, and move here. So just slide to that side. And is going to take a swing at you, Brian, at the 2 scimitar-wielding pirate. And the Hobgoblin is doing this with his longsword. And that is an 18 to hit.
That hits me.
Okay. Ooh, that is 7 points of damage as he
Goodness
strikes
sake.
down. You notice that he's using his sword one-handed. He does not have a shield, so he could theoretically grab two-handed if he wanted to. Right now, he just used one-handed for whatever that's worth. But you notice that it was definitely a little. It was not rage-filled and angry and all that other kind of stuff. It was considered that attack. Okay, so that was him, and now this one is going to. Let's see. This one is going to move. Actually, probably because this one, is going to shoot over. This one right here, actually, Morthwill, is a dwarf, which is convenient because the one wielding a bow right back here is going to fire over the dwarf's head at guess who?
Me.
Yep. Although I think it's going to... This might be a miss, though. Makes 2 attacks, though. Well, the first one is a 12. Is that a miss?
That's a miss.
Okay, and the second one... Okay. Second one is a 6. So, 2 misses. And the longbow-wielding scout, or whoever it is, curses. And that brings us to Waves. Waves, you're up next.
I drop the lantern, if I'm still holding it.
Clang.
And put on my shield instead, and poke the Hobgoblin with the rapier. And this time I'm going to do it right.
Okay.
Come on, we can do this. Poke it. 21.
21 will absolutely hit.
And 11 piercing.
Wow, nice. Okay. So that does a lot of damage. That thing is... It like you pierce it practically through the neck, and it's like ooh, like kind of staggers back, clutching at its neck. It is not dead, but is very, very hurt. Good stuff, Waves. I assume you're going to stay where you are.
Well, if I stay where I am, then Brian is still front row, and she doesn't look good, right?
That is true.
Can I-
But she's
so-
not going to be
can I-
able to switch with you until
No?
her turn. So you can slide through her. You know, you can like pass through her, and you could actually pass through her to right this square, and like without provoking an attack if you wanted.
I think I'm going to do that, also that the others can move forward, and that somebody's in front of Brian.
Okay.
So I'm going to move there.
Okay. Sounds like a plan. All right, so you're going to do that. That's going to bring us to the aforementioned Brine. Brine, you've got a very hurt Hobgoblin. You've got a bandit, a dwarven bandit, who is now blocked off by waves, and you've been hurt a little bit yourself.
Okay. First off, I'm going to fully shout at this hobgoblin. Who do you think you are? We were trying to help people here. And then I am going to attack him with both of my scimitars.
All right. Go ahead and make your attack on this. And on the hobgoblin, you said, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yep. Go ahead and make that attack.
Okay. Sorry. For some reason, it automatically does the damage.
Does both. Okay. Well, that's okay.
There's a way to turn that off.
That is definitely a hit.
And so it's automatically rolled the damage. So that's
Right.
8
So you're taking
damage.
8. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I take that back. That is not a hit. I take that back. This guy is wearing chainmail and actually blocks your sword. I didn't see. He has a higher AC than I thought. My fault. No, that does not hit.
I've got a second scimitar that rolls exactly the
Same
same.
results. Yeah. He blocks off twice with his sword. And then laughs. Although laughs kind of gurgling through his terrible wound.
A hole in his neck.
I'm not going to try and disengage. Oh, sugar. I should have rolled both of those with disadvantage as well.
Ah, well. Then what we'll do is we'll say that was your first attack. Both were misses, obviously, because you were rolling twice. So go ahead and roll your second attack now.
Okay.
And you're doing it, but we'll just make sure you roll twice for disadvantage. So.
I got 6.
Yeah, that is definitely a
that
miss.
would have missed.
Yep. Okay. So you're staying where you are, you said. And that is going to lead us to this bandit, this dwarven bandit that is facing down Waves and is very frustrated. And with its scimitar, attacks you, Waves, with a 20 to hit, not a natural.
Yeah, 20 hits.
That is going to do 6 points of damage to you, Waves, as his scimitar slashes along your side, and he laughs and he says, "Take a few feathers from you, birdie." And then is going to stay in the exact same place, and that's going to leave us to Silvo is up next.
Oh,
Can I quickly growl? Can I quickly growl at him?
Oh, sure. Feel free.
I was really hoping you had something saved for that. Okay, can I see the hobgoblin from where I am?
You can. I think you're going to need to move. Well, yeah, you can see over Morthwill. Yes, I would say
Well,
so. You
basically-
can just make him out.
Could I attack him here or here? I don't mind moving there.
That one is fine, I think. Yeah, you can get to him that,
That one's
way
fine.
too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to move there. I'm going to take my crossbow out, load it, because apparently I didn't load it last time, and then fire at the hobgoblin.
Okay. All right.
Please stand by.
Go ahead
Your
and do
attack
so.
is important to me. Light crossbow. Chow. Does a 15 hit.
Let's see. So, 1 second. Oh, that's what I was looking for. A 15 is not going to hit on the hobgoblin. No, it blocks it
Okay.
off.
Okay. That's all I got.
Okay. All right. Now, there is one more person who has not yet had a chance to move. From basically behind the room, Waves, you can just sort of make out this tall man with a shaved head and piercing green eyes rises from behind one of the barrels where he's obviously been crouching. And he's going to look at you, specifically at you, Waves. And he opens his hand, and shooting out from his hand are 3 glowing blue darts that fly in this direction. And let's see, is he going to have all of them at you? I think so. Yeah, and all of those are going to hit you. These are not something which you can roll for. They are a particular kind of spell, which you may be familiar with. So that's first one does 2 points of damage. Second one, 4 points of damage. And the second one, 4 more points of damage. So that puts you, I think, at -4, if I'm not mistaken.
-3, I think, but is this...
Yeah, well, 2, 4, and 4. Oh, you're right. No, I'm sorry.
I have 7 left.
I had you at 6. I had you at 6 out of 13. You took
I
7 points of damage.
I took 6 points of damage.
Oh, did you?
It was
Okay.
Brian took 7.
I took 7
No, I
points
know
of
that.
damage.
I have
I'm on
Brian
6.
having taken that. I thought you took more than that. Okay, well, that's fine.
Okay.
Either way, so that's -3. Okay. So, same difference. It means that Waves drops to the ground. Waves is down, having been hit by this. And the man says, "Surrender now, and perhaps we may spare your lives."
Oh, that's a bit late for me.
And let's see. You are currently down. All right. So he sinks down below the barrels again. And that is going to lead us to Morthwheel.
Who hasn't got a lot he can do, but he's gonna cast Firebolt at the wounded Hobgoblin.
Okay.
Okay.
Silvo pays particular attention to this.
And that's gonna do bugger all.
Yeah, that unfortunately is not going to hit. Sadly, and the bolt fires through past him harmlessly. Okay. That brings us back up to the top of the round where the Hobgoblin, who has somehow avoided after that brutal attack from Waves, has somehow survived the rest of the round. That's what a nice AC will do for you. Turns his attention to Brine and is going to try to hit you with his long sword. Let's see. I don't think that's going to hit, though. That is a 9.
9 doesn't hit.
Okay, so he misses, and he kind of growls and stays where he is. The scout back here is going to fire over the now dwarf and prone body of Waves right at Brine, who unfortunately continues to be right in the field of view. That is going to be, let me see, we've got... let's see. That is going to be 2 attacks. That is a 20, not natural in the first one, and then
That
a
hits.
17 on the second one.
So does that.
Okay. Let's see. That is going to be 6 points of damage, Brian.
That puts me down to 0.
Yep. So Brine hits the ground unconscious, sadly, one more time.
Every single time.
Is going to hit this again. Yeah, it happens to be when you all level up, this will be a little bit easier, but it's also because of the position of how things happen. These are partly the wages of stealth rolls that didn't work out before and other things like loud booming voices that notify them. Okay. And the scout sort of makes kind of chuckles to herself. And that is going to bring us on to Waves, who needs to make her first death saving throw.
Okay. Just a D20 for me. 13.
Okay, so that is 1 success. And now Brine gets to do the exact same thing. And 1 failure. All right. That leads us to the Bandit. Now, the Bandit is going to step over the motionless bodies of Waves and of Brine, and is going to stride forward to try to engage you, Morthwheel. And is going to attack with his scimitar. But I think that's going to be a miss. That's an 8.
It's a miss.
Yeah, so misses you and kind of... and Silvo, this leads us to you. So under the current circumstances, what you can see is not a particularly great situation. Now, I will say that the Hobgoblin is extremely hurt. The Bandit is not hurt. And yeah, this is sort of what we're looking at. There are issues that you're dealing with right now. Yeah, that's true. Echo does have inspirations. Echo does have a couple inspirations to use, I know, so.
I don't know what to do. Silvo is panicked at this point, and he's just seen the two people he probably respects physically most in the party. No offense, Morthwheel, he respects him in other ways. But the people who deal the most damage have just gone down right in front of him, so there is a definite panic in his voice. And I would like to try and attack the Hobgoblin again. Let me just see what this spell does. This is an interesting spell that I think is thematically okay. Yeah. Could the Hobgoblin make me a Constitution saving throw, please?
Sure.
Excellent. DC 13.
Let's see. Nope, just missed.
Okay, excellent. So as Silvo is barely keeping it together trying to reload his crossbow, and you hear very colourful curse words coming from behind you, Morthwheel. A cloud of what looks like dust flies up around the Hobgoblin, but you actually see that it's actually what looks like insects and potentially fleas and mites, and suddenly the Hobgoblin is just covered in parasites all over it. All over it. It doesn't know where it's come from, it doesn't know how it got there, but it now takes 1d6 poison damage, so I'll roll that.
Okay.
1d6. So it takes 2 poison damage and moves 5 feet in a random direction based on a d4 roll.
Well, it's going to move. It's going to move in a random direction towards
It's going to
the
move
ground
5 feet
because
down. Excellent.
Like just falls down.
Well, I didn't know how much health it had.
It was basically at 1 hit point. Like it's been sitting at 1 hit
excellent.
point for a while. And yes, it drops to the ground and expires.
Excellent.
And the Bandit looks around, looks a little nervous actually.
For everyone's information, I'll pop that in chat as well. It is Infestation, which is one of the cantrips that I have. So yeah, that's the Hobgoblin just vanishes basically in a cloud of insect bites. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's pretty much me.
That was
I'm
pretty good. Are you moving anywhere, Silvo, or not?
It's probably not a point.
Okay. Then let's see. The next one to move is the guy back in the room, the tall man that I referred to before. And let's see, what is he going to do? He is going to...
Oh, no, wait. As soon as... After that has happened, Mortal, you're not sure, but you kind of think you hear Silvo say, "Damn it, not again."
Morthwheel was pretty sure he knows what you mean by that after our encounters here.
After a few times of actually spending any time with me in combat, yeah. There's a conversation.
I don't know about with you in combat, but with these other two.
Okay, let's see. So probably can't get in here. Okay. I think he's going to stay as he is. Okay, so does not move yet. Stays from behind and says, "I say again, surrender." And Morthwheel, that's going to lead us to you.
He's drawing his dagger, but he just sort of he thinks at Silvo. He might have a point. Remembering that Silvo's sometimes in his head.
Mm-hmm.
With that, I'm going to attack with my dagger the bandit in front of me.
Okay.
18.
18 will hit.
Okay. For 5 points of piercing.
All right. Let's see. Sorry, I have to make sure I found it. How much? 5 points, you said?
5 points of piercing,
Okay.
yeah.
That is a good solid strike. And you stab through him. And kind of, grabs, pulls away from you, looks at you angrily and fiercely, and with great vengeance and furious anger. Okay. You're going to stay where you are, I assume. You could disengage 5 feet if you want. It's up to you.
Yeah, I could, and then put Silver on the front line. So I'm going to stay where I am.
Your job.
I have armor and a shield. Silver does not. I'm staying put.
Okay, that means that that is going to bring us back up to the top. And it's going to start with... The good news for all of you right now is that the scout can't really get a shot without running up, which is not what the scout's going to do. So I do warn everyone that held actions are a thing for both monsters and players in this universe. So that's going to bring us... So they do not act yet. That doesn't mean they can't in the future. Waves, this is your second death save, please.
Okay. Come on. Oh, sorry. Clicked the wrong thing. Ugh.
That is one fail. One success, one fail. Now, before Brian takes hers, I do want to remind everybody in chat that if Brian were to critically fail this... Now, fortunately, I'm not going to be mean and have, because she's frightened, have this be a disadvantage check because she's unconscious, so I'm not going to do that. God. It would be kind of funny, though. It's like, I'm afraid of everything. But no, I'm not going to do that. So this is just going to be a regular roll. But if she fails this critically, she would get 2 failures, and then Brian the Bloodthirsty would be Brian the Expired. So if you want to avoid that fate, chat, inspirations may want to throw them in Brian's direction, because there's a death saving throw in the offing. First of all, Echo is subscribed to Tier 1. 54 months, says, shut up, they ain't surrendering numbnuts. We got the inspiration, we got the gear. We'll kill you good with all the more DRM-free inspirations. All right, well, that sounds good. Echo, do I understand from that you're going to inspire... thank you, first of all, for the resub and the 54 months on GOG.com. Do I assume that means you're inspiring Brian? Are you inspiring Brian, Echo? I just want to make sure. Echo had said he was saving his inspirations for this very campaign today. So.
Oh, good.
He
well,
knew.
listen, I'd normally like to see that roll normal, but I know Pyron won't forgive me. I think it's Ananda that wouldn't forgive you. Probably Pyron wouldn't forgive you anyway. Okay, so he has inspired you. Thank you very much, Echo. He has inspired you, Brian. So, at advantage, you are rolling this.
Okay. Oh, thank goodness for that.
That's
Thank
much
you.
better. All right. So we have got 1 failure now and 1 success. Good stuff. That would have been 2 failures, and that would have been unfortunate. All right. 2 successes and 1 failure. All right. Just 1 more success, and you won't be bleeding out anymore. Isn't that great news? I'm sure everyone's excited.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah, it'll be great. Okay. Now the bandit is going to try to swing at you, Morthwill, and Silvo, you are up on deck after the bandit goes. The bandit is... Oh, well, I have a feeling that's going to be a hit. That's a 21 to hit?
Yep.
Okay. That is going to do 4 points of damage to you, Morthwill, as the scimitar slices across your side. Okay. And then that's going to bring us to... That's Waves. That's Brian. That's going to... And the bandit. That's going to bring us to... He's going to stay where he is. So that will bring us to Silvo. Silvo, you are up. You have a hurt bandit in front of you and also a hurt Morthwill right in front of you. And 2 dying companions. So
there's a flash of panic in Silvo's eyes. He drops his crossbow, raises both hands, screams, and casts Fireball.
Ooh, nice.
And hopefully hits with a 22.
That sure does hit.
Excellent stuff. And does 8 points of fire damage.
Wow, you blow that dude back. He is knocked off his feet. And you just see his smoldering corpse on the ground as the bandit disappears. Not disappears, but is on fire.
Excellent.
Good work, Silvo. That was a big one. Okay, where are you going to move, if anywhere, Silvo?
I am going to try and... Can I move Morthwill?
You can't move
move?
Morthwill. No, you can.
Okay.
I mean, I guess you could grab him, but I mean, basically where you are is where you would go.
No, that's fine. What I would like to know is if I am in this position right now, if I were to theoretically move here, would I be able to theoretically move to this space afterwards?
Just for what reason, though? You could, like...
To fire on...
And then, like, you can... Yes, as long as you don't remain in that space, yes. Like, you could sneak around the outside.
In this space?
Yeah, exactly. You could shoot and then go back to the space where you just were.
Yes, yeah.
That's fine, yeah.
So I'm going to move here, so I'm near a corner. It's just, in this space specifically to my south, there's quite a lot of rock. So I didn't want it to be like, oh, look, Silvo's in a wall, he's clipping.
Yeah, it's logical.
Like, I wanted it to be like, no, I'm kind of peeking around the corner and taking a pot shot, and then I'm going to be moving back again.
I got you. Yep, that makes
Does that
sense.
make sense? Okay, excellent stuff. Yeah, that's so and there's a solid few moments where you just see Silvo physically shaking as he's trying to again reload his crossbow.
Okay. Damn it, come on. Okay. All right. This guy stands up again now that he has a clear line of sight to you, Morthwill, the tall guy. And he says, I gave you a warning, and opens his hand, and 3 bolts again streak out. They hit you
to you, Silvo.
Sorry, on Morthwill, yeah. Strikes you for 5 points of damage, Morthwill. So you were down to 2. And then the guy ducks down below the barrels. There's only him and the scout back there in that room now. And that's going to lead us to you, Morthwill, just having been hit by those things.
Also keenly aware that the scout hasn't been yet and is probably waiting for someone to appear around the corner with a loaded arrow.
Okay. I'm sorry. Say that again. I'm sorry.
I'm just thinking out loud.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm just keenly aware the scout's not been and is probably just standing there like this right now,
Yeah,
waiting for
basically
someone to appear.
Probably.
So, and I'm gonna sprint across to here. I do specifically want to be moving as fast as possible, like actually, like.
Yep.
To present as fleeting a target as possible.
So, and there is in fact a shot taken at you, but because you're sprinting at top speed, I'm going to have that done at disadvantage, which means that one of those shots is a 10.
Miss.
Okay. The other one was a 17. So the arrow whizzes by your head as you go flying. You were right, Morthwill. They were readying that.
Yeah, that was dead on my AC. That 17.
Yep. So you're on the other side now.
Yeah.
And that's it?
Move up closer to there if I can. Again, not moving any further than
well,
the
the good news
is
now the scouts use the readied action. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Basically just want to be here to try and assist. But yeah, I'm not going to be able to do that without exposing myself either.
Well, it depends. If you want to try to heal or do something with one of your companions, you could do that right now without an attack because of that action that was just used. Or you could get an attack in on one of the, on the scout or whatever. It's up to you.
Actually, I wouldn't mind trying to firebolt the scout from around the wall. Sniper fight!
Yeah, that's right. This is all Mass Effect cover fire stuff. Right?
I'm thinking more police squad behind the dustbin 6 feet from each
that
other.
Too, yes. Yeah. True.
Yeah, that's where I went with that.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Alrighty. 9.
Impacts the wall behind. Sadly, does not hit. Okay. That is going to bring us to the top of the round. The scout. I think the scout is probably going to stay where the scout is to do the second verse same as the first, because the scout isn't going to go running up and attacking you. So that's going to bring us down to Waves. Now, Waves has 1 success, 1 failure so far. So technically, a crit fail could lead to the end of Waves. Or a crit success could bring Waves back to her feet. Or a regular success or failure would have just that result. So it's up to chat. I don't know what the inspiration situation is for people in there, but it's up to that. By the way, those rolls in the room are what look like cloth. Basically bolts of cloth. And the casks that the tall guy keeps rising up from behind, those are obviously casks, probably wine casks.
Okay. Could have been rum. You never know. Sometimes there's rum.
Echo does have an inspiration left. So
Yeah, I mean, I think that it would be like I had a character portrait made for this and all, so I would like to take the inspiration.
So Echo, if you want to
I may
inspire,
echo.
you can do that. And chat, you're going to need to back up. You're going to need to help out Brian. You know how to do the inspirations. Basically, the way it works is if you support my Patreon on my channel at a certain level, or if you subscribe on my channel at, I think it's tier 2 or above, so the $10 level or up, then that means that you get an inspiration, which you can use on any of my tabletop campaigns, and that resets every month. So since it is the last campaign for me of the month, it means you can use inspirations freely, and a lot of inspirations were used in earlier campaigns this month, so chat's helping when they can.
But we are the S tier team, so you know.
But yes, they're the S tier team.
Just let you know.
That said, though, Echo, are you inspiring?
In spite of current evidence.
Yeah. Usually S tier. Pyron Jade is inspired. Okay. So Echo is doing his part.
Oh.
Okay, you might as well roll
15 and a 2.
Might as well
So the
roll.
15 counts.
Yep, that would be
The
it.
15, I didn't think it would do, but it's 2. I rolled 2 d20.
Okay,
That
that's
too
fine.
is dangerous for
So 2 successes now for waves. 2 successes.
Okay.
For waves, 1 failure. This leads us to Brian. So, inspirations. What they do, Maya, is that they give you advantage. So in 5th edition, if you were inspired, you can use that inspiration to get advantage on a saving throw or a skill check or in an attack roll. And that means you roll 2 dice and you take the better result. Usually you want the higher result. Disadvantage is the opposite. It means that you roll twice and you must take the worse, usually the lower result. Yeah, that's pretty neat. So here we are. We're on Brian. 1 failure, 1 success. What will chat do? Will they let Brian face the abyss of the end of Brianness alone?
I
He waits
love
to
Brian
see.
so much. I don't want to lose her.
Oh, Lone Wolf can inspire. Did you inspire already or not, Lone Wolf? I don't remember if you did. Oh, that's right. Lone Wolf had an inspiration. I forgot. All right. Lone Wolf has inspired you, Brian. Boy, chat is coming through today big time. I forgot
Oh,
about that,
chat,
Lone Wolf.
you
All
are
right. So
carrying
Lone Wolf
us
has
right now.
used both of his now.
So I get advantage.
Yes.
All right. Let's do
Roll a
this.
20. Do it. Do it now.
Oh, God.
Those are, well, at least it wasn't two. It wasn't a crit fail. Okay, sadly, even the better one is still a failure. So you have 2 failures and 1 success. Brian looks to be in big trouble unless she is stabilized. Okay, that is her. It's getting intense. Let's see. That leads us to Silvo. Silvo, you are up, and you can hear the groaning and moaning from the hallway of your compatriots.
Okay, can I move here and peek around the corner to see the person behind the cask?
I think
just-
so, yes. I think if
see-
you move out, you're going to be exposing yourself to the scout, but I think if you're just looking, you can do that, yes.
I'm not aiming, I'm not doing nothing, I'm literally just a quick
Yeah,
kind of...
You can see.
I want to be able to see enough of them to have a telepathic link with them.
Ah, okay. Yes,
I just
okay, you
need to
can-
have been able to see them.
That's fine. Yeah, you can do that. Yep.
Yeah, okay, excellent stuff. So who is this again? Is this Snabalet?
This looks like, if you had to guess, this is Sanballet. This is the
Sanballet,
lord that
sorry,
you
not
heard the
Snabalet.
reference before.
That's my bad note taking, sorry. So Lord Sanballet, in his head, he hears, you have about 30 seconds to concede, and I encourage that you do so. But before you do, and you have an answer for me, I have a very important question for you. What exactly would you like me to tell your family? I'd
So,
like to try and intimidate him.
right. Okay, so he kind of looks around. I need you to make an intimidate check for me, please.
Yep.
He is kind of looking around, figuring that out.
That is a solid 7.
So he's kind of like, and he kind of, someone with telepathic abilities. I could use someone like you. Why not put down your weapons before you're killed, and we'll talk about what role you'll serve in my army. He seems overconfident, if anything. He seems to not
Well,
care.
if you ask your sniper to lay down their arms first, then we can potentially talk about this.
And he looks over and he says, I see 2 of your companions dying and another one of them badly hurt. I don't think I'm in the position of needing to negotiate.
So you'd rather kill someone who would be useful to you?
Maybe, because if they continue to attack me, they'd become less of a nuisance. They become more of a nuisance than possible help.
And then we all lay down our arms, we tend to our wounded collectively, though that may be slightly more difficult in your case, and we have a civil conversation at this point.
Fine. Come out with your hands up, tell your friend to do the same, and I'll instruct my companion there to lower her weapon.
Okay, I stop talking to, I've forgotten his name again already, Sambalet?
Yes.
Sambalet. I stop talking to Sambalet, and I look over to Morthwheel, and I give him a wink, and then I step out with my hands up.
Okay.
To this point.
So, you step out with your hands up. Okay. Sanballit stands, puts a hand up to the scout next to him, and he says, "Good. I'm glad you've been sensible." And he steps up here and he says, "Now, I'll ask your friend to make sure you step forward also. Let's make sure we have the whole sorry crew of you in front of me."
I'm going to step... Can I step over Brian and Waves?
Well, we're technically not out of initiative right now, so
Okay.
I would say no.
Okay.
At the moment, this is the spot you're at. The Sanballet has just done what you've seen, and Morthwheel, that means it's now your turn.
Got it.
I'm going to ignore him and tend to Brian.
Okay. Sounds good. Make a medicine check, please, then. If you have a
God.
healing potion, so much the better, but if not, you don't, right?
I'll just double check. I'm positive nope on that.
Okay.
We did find that. Didn't someone find a weird potion? I forget who has it. That's the only thing.
The weird...
I think
Oh,
that wasn't
Yeah.
I'm thinking a talisman. Never mind.
talisman,
Oh,
blue
yes, it
potion,
was. Yes, it was.
Yeah.
definitely
Okay.
alcohol.
In the
Alright.
crossover universe idea.
Yeah. In the extended universe, yeah.
Brian is stabilized, and that's about the nick of time that we can get. All right, Brian, you are stabilized, so you will no longer bleed out. You're still unconscious, but you're not going to die. Not this day. Okay, so unconscious. Now that still leaves us with Waves. We'll get to Waves in a second. Morthwheel, that took your turn to do that.
Mhm.
The scout, holding her bow still warily, sort of steps up here, still with her bow drawn, kind of facing in the direction of where you are, Morthwheel. And that's going to lead us to Waves. So, Waves, here you go. There's a lot riding on this. We have, chat,
No.
here's the way it works. If you get one success, then you are stabilized. If you get one failure, then we keep going. If you get a critical fail, unfortunately, that is the end of Waves.
Yep.
But if you get a critical success, you're back up. We'll see. I don't know if Chad has any inspirations left. They may not. If we had
Don't think
Hillness
so.
here, Hillness has them, but I don't think we
Just
do.
not rolling
Can
a
I-
one is what I need to do. Like a good
Can I
role player,
quickly
not
sign
roll a
up?
one.
Is that pay to play? Is that pay to play to win? Is it? Can I quickly sign up?
Oh, I mean, I hate to use those terms. It is to support the Patreon, and it's a cool thing that people get when they do that. But you're allowed to technically inspire your compatriots. You're not allowed to inspire yourself.
I should be able to not roll a one. I can do this.
All right, you got this. You got this.
You got
I
it.
can do this.
We
Let's
believe,
just
we
not
believe, we
roll a
believe,
one.
we believe.
Just not
Oh,
not
don't
roll a
look at
one.
the screen for a minute. Oh, don't look at the screen for a minute.
Don't not roll a one. Not roll a one.
Wait,
Come on.
we should- Are you?
I rolled a one. No. It happened.
I.
No.
What do you
Had
mean?
to
Wait,
say
wait.
it.
What do you mean? Wait.
Wait.
I don't know about this. Wait. I don't really. I tier 2D. Wait. Oh, because you have a gifts up there, it doesn't take. Wait. Explain that to me, Tomatoes. What? Oh, you wanted to help out. You tier 2'd, but because you have a gifts up there, it doesn't take. What do you mean because you have a gifts up? Oh, I see. So you mean you just renewed on my channel at tier 2? Is that what you're saying? I see. That's all right, Timaeus. I believe you. Also, I really like Waves, and I don't want Waves to die. All right, Waves, you're gonna get but listen, this is all legit. This is not fake. This is
No, 100%,
Timaeus does in
100%.
fact have a sub on my channel. Thank you for doing the tier 2 resub. I appreciate Timaeus. So Timaeus has inspired you, Waves. So that
Thank
that
you,
got in
Timaeus.
before. So if you roll another one, you're out of luck, Byron.
Yeah, I know. I don't want to roll now. I'm just gonna sit here.
Don't roll another one, please. Don't roll another one.
Thank you, Team Ios.
For absolutely unrelated note, which tier is it that we need to get inspiration?
It'd be tier 2, or the Patreon at the $10 level or above.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna click this. Okay, I'm just gonna.
Okay.
10.
It's a 10.
Woo! All right, that is 2 successes. That is 3 successes, and Waves passes not into the land beyond, but passes into simple unconsciousness.
I'm getting too old for this.
Wow, that was seriously clutch, Timaeus. That only worked because Timaeus is in fact a sub. I want to be clear that I wasn't just being nice. That literally was,
I mean, you are a nice person, but if the dice had rolled to the point where one of our characters would have died, you would have stuck with it. I know that.
That's what it would have to be. That was the closest I can remember. Also, that was huge, Timaeus. Yeah.
I've played this for a long time, and I will be very honest. This would not have been my first dead character, so I can deal. It's.
Yeah.
I know that there's a risk, and I'm a very strong believer that the risk should be real.
I'm
so
sweating.
I'm completely fine.
No,
with
so
all
May,
of
let me
this.
explain. Inspirations are not allowed after a die has been rolled. The difference there is that Timaeus was already a sub and was trying to inspire, but because they were given a sub, it means that it wasn't popping up as a notification on the channel. So that Timaeus did inspire beforehand, but it didn't pop up as a notification. You see what I mean? So it's not the same thing. It was not inspiring after the fact. Right. Inspire. Yeah. He was trying to get in before the die was rolled. Exactly. And it's a good thing because he just saved Wave's life. So that was pretty important.
Yes, he did.
Okay. Now, the two of you are lying on the ground. We're out of combat for the moment. And so Sanballat kind of strides forward. His piercing green eyes are fixed on you. And he walks up next to you, Morthwill. The scout is like right behind him, like warily, puts away her bow and draws forth, I believe she has a short sword, draws forth a short sword, and Sanballat says, "All right, Redif, make sure you watch over them." And the aforementioned Revif goes past Sanballat and walks next to basically here and holds her sword, basically Silvo, just like pointing it at your neck, essentially. And Sanballat looks down and says, well, fascinating. I didn't think that it would be worth anyone to try to come here and eliminate my group, but as you can see, it was foolish to try. All right, explain to me exactly who you are, or I'll finish the job that my people started. And he kind of holds his hand over Waves, and you see a slight glow appear in his palm, Morthwill and Silvo. Hey, Tabletop Anthologies, welcome.
All right, we're basically a group of nobodies from town, and we were sent here by Scarron Wave Chaser to try and find out what was going on here. We've gotten ourselves into some trouble that we cannot get ourselves out of, and
so it appears.
We're in deep, and we need an out.
Scarron Wave Chaser sent you, did he? Interesting. I thought that it wouldn't be him, but his boss who would be sending you to do anything. Scarron, as far as I know, is simply a servant. Or at least that's the rumor.
Silvo still got his hands up and he's like, well, we all need to serve someone sometime, right?
And Sanballat sort of gives a very cruel smile and says, apparently so. All right. What's your name, then? I don't think you explained. You didn't say who you were, did you? I don't think you said.
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Okay. Yeah, so he says, what's your name, then?
My name's Silvo.
He says, very well. And you, and he looks down at you, Morthwill.
My own.
Your own what? Don't be funny, unless you'd like to see this bird of yours shuffle off this mortal coil and pine for the choir invisible.
What now?
Never mind.
Silvo kind of interrupts. He's like, okay, he's an artificer from town. This one's some sort of pirate from far away, and this one's a traveler. We met like a couple of hours ago in a pub.
Names.
I don't know many names. I only know my own and the people I work for, okay?
And he looks down at you, Morthwheel. He says, I'll ask one more time. What is your name?
You mustn't be from round here if you're asking, my friend.
I'm not. At least not from your town. Do I take it then that you're from Saltmarsh?
The last 180 years or so,
And he nods slowly and he says, all right. And these two, they're just chance companions, this group that was sent here to take out my operation?
Well, technically we were just sent here to discover what was going on, and we got attacked and defended ourselves, so I think really the blame is on both sides here.
Attacked and defended yourselves? Who exactly was it that killed then the others or set off my warnings earlier in the house?
Oh, no,
you ignored them and came down here yourself.
Well, we assumed it might be ghosts.
As far as you know, it should have been. And he kind of looks down at the bleeding, unconscious bodies of Waves and of Brine and says, either way, your compatriots would have fought bravely if bravery was what I valued. But in reality, the only reason I saved any of you, he looks over to you, Silvo, and taps his head, it's because of what you did. I assume you have some magical ability then, telepathic or otherwise. Are you a sorcerer of some kind?
I don't really know. Well, this is a long story, and I don't really think this is the best place to have it.
And he kind of, Revit, go grab Can, bring the two of them back up here. Tell them I have a mouse that needs trapping. Then drag their bodies in here. Perhaps I can make use of these buffoons. And he turns away and strides back into the room. And the scout disappears and comes back a moment, no, I shouldn't say a moment later, comes back in a few minutes, let us say, and is accompanied by another one of the bandits that you saw before, looking very similar. Hold on a second, there we go. In fact, this one looks extremely similar, so similar, actually, that you wonder at first, Morthwheel, whether or not you're looking at the mirror image of a person you already defeated. And when he comes and sees the body on the ground, he says, "What? Who did this? Who did it?" And he draws forth his scimitar and holds it up, and Sanballat says, "It's enough, Can." And Can, just brings his scimitar down to literally within an inch of your neck, Morthwheel, and just holds it up and gradually pulls it back. And Sanballat says, "You have the singular honor, dwarf, of having killed Can's brother here. They were all they had of each other, their only family were each other, and then you decided to wipe them out. However, Can works for me, and knows better than to let personal emotions take over in a matter like this. Isn't that right, Can?" And Can, his face worked in passion, just sheathes his scimitar slowly and steps over to the wall. And Sanballat says, "There, that's better. Now, the two of you, the elf and the dwarf. I'm so sorry, Silvo. Did you say your name now? You did, right?
Yes,
Okay,
I said
so
my first name.
Silvo and the nameless 180-year-old one, drag your two companions in here to this room. And you can see that Revif, the scout here, has her short sword held, right basically next to you. So, yeah.
I will, to the best of my ability, try and drag Brine into the room.
Yeah, and by the way, the only thing that this guy knows is that Morthwheel, you were standing next to him, and that the body of the guy is dead. So he doesn't actually know who killed him. He just knows that somebody did.
Someone's got to get the blame.
Yep.
And I haven't admitted it yet.
Okay.
I would expect no less or more from Silvo? One of the two.
Excellent. Excellent.
Okay. So, they're brought into the room, and Sanballat kind of sits on one of the casks with a smile. He says, "Good. Now that we're all here, we can perhaps speak more freely. I don't suppose you have any way to heal those, do you?" He kind of points kind of dismissively at the two bodies on the floor of brine and waves.
No.
Silvo assembles another one of his crystals, which again fails to light up, and he's just like,
Morthwill, you mean?
yes.
Yeah, he means Morthwill.
I was like, Silvo does that? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And he says, very well. It
No, I was
seems
kinda
that
hoping you might.
early... Oh, go ahead, Silvo. I'm sorry.
I was just say, yeah, no, we don't. I was kind of hoping you might.
And he says, and why exactly would I heal those who would attack me?
Well, attacking you just feels like a bit of a side effect as to why we were sent here. We were just sent here to investigate the house. Again, some stuff happened, some alarms went off, some people draw swords, things got a bit messy, and now we find ourselves here trying to find our way out. So, yeah, this kind of feels like an unfortunate series of consequences.
Apparently, more unfortunate for some than others.
Silvo's going to just hop onto one of these casks.
And Reviv's eyes kind of flicker over to you, Silvo, and then back over to Sanballat. And Sanballat just gives the barest, shakes his head and then says, very well, Silvo. And I'm going to ask you, since he refuses, what is his name? And he points at Morthwill. I want to know, because if I'm going to help your friends, I will need some assistance in turn.
I think at Silvo very quickly, make something up.
I think back to Morthwill. Don't worry about it.
Sanballat stares at you. I'm waiting.
I gotta be honest, in this line of work, I barely remember some people's names. His name is Pierre something. Pietor. I don't know. He's been in town for a long time. I've been here for about a year-ish. This one can't speak, and I point at Waves. So I have no clue what they are called. And this one apparently is some sort of pirate who literally got into town today.
And
sea foam, something like that. I'm not sure what. Jellyfish, some sort of nautical creature. I don't know, man. I'm just looking for a good payday to pay off my boss.
Make a deception check for me, Silvo.
Absolutely. That is a 24.
That's pretty good.
There's the good roll.
So
there's the good roll.
So Sanballat kind of slowly, his eyes narrow, and then I see. So Pietro, he kind of looks at you, Morthwill, and this bird thing that apparently goes nameless. And then this. And he kind of gets off the cask and he walks over next to Brine and looks down and says, somehow she looks familiar to me. A Genasi, I believe. And then he kind of shakes his head. No matter. Eventually, the names will be irrelevant in any case. And he looks at Reviv and he says, all right, get them both back on their feet, at least functional. And Revith reaches into something at a belt pouch and pulls out a little vial and then gives some to each of Brine and Waves. And this thing, when it goes down, this probably functions sort of the equivalent of like a healing potion. You don't get a very big dose. Each of you is going to get, let's see, Brine is going to get 5 hit points back. And Waves is going to get also 5, good rolls, is going to also get 5 back. But this thing, as you have it, it's burns as it goes down your throat. Like it's just this, so you sort of wake up having this bizarre unconscious dream about running through a fire and just smoke, breathing ash and smoke and fire, and you wake to find yourselves flat on your backs. You can see two angry-looking, a bandit and then the scout you were fighting before, with their swords pointed at you. You see Sanballat with his arms folded, kind of staring down at you. Morthwheel is behind you, Silvo on a cask.
There is an immediate whisper to both of you from myself. Just play along. Don't attack
I
them.
sputter from the burning potion.
Ew.
This Silvo on the telepathy thing. How fast can you switch that around? I know it's one at a time.
It's bonus action, so I don't really know. I will.
But you can do that pretty much at will without like.
Yeah, pretty much. So this isn't like a spell or anything like that. This is just a skill. You can form a telepathic connection between your mind and the mind of another. As a bonus action, choose one creature you can see within 30 feet of you. You and the chosen creature can speak telepathically with each other, while the two of you are within a number of miles equal to your charisma modifier, minimum of 1 mile. You understand each other. To understand each other, you must speak mentally in a language.
So one at a time. The only thing I want you to remember about this, Mike, is that when you're using this, keep in mind that it's not like a text, a group text, right? It's not a broadcast all. It means that you will need to take a few seconds in each case to say these things. So I think in this context, you are able to do so. But just be aware that won't always be the case. So
yes,
you do that, and then Sanballat looks at you and says, I wonder if you're using your special talent already, Silvo. What exactly brought you to Saltmarsh? Are you a native there, like Piatto?
No, I'm not. There's a very kind of heavy look to Silvo's face at this point. I'm from Seaton originally.
And he nods slowly. He says, I see. How long have you had this ability of yours to communicate through one's mind?
I'm not entirely sure. Probably a few years. It was hard when it first started. I couldn't really control what came in and what went out. So a lot of people thought I was whispering to them, and I heard a lot of people's thoughts. And Silvo just kind of goes quiet at that point.
And he sort of, Sanballat nods and he stands up. Or actually, I'm sorry, he was already standing looking down. I beg your pardon. He walks over to you, though, Silvo, on the cask. And he kind of leans in. And then he puts his hand just on the back of your head. And he leans in and he says, I know what it is to be afraid, Silvo. But if you're smart, you can let your intellect conquer your fear. If you work for the right people, you can allow that fear to disappear completely. You seem to care somewhat for your friends, but just so you know, I don't. The only one I care about right now is you, and what you can do, and your friends, I suppose, for me. If you agree, you can live to see another day. If you disagree, I'll end your problems right now by ending you.
There is a... So Silvo's been looking down this entire time, kind of like playing with his thumbnail, sort of like picking away at some dirt. And he just slowly looks up at Sanballat, and there are just tears streaming down his face, and there's a moment where he goes, I am so very afraid of this power, of what it can do and what it has done in the past. And if I can get rid of it, control it, do whatever I need to, I'll do what I can.
He says, good. And then he kind of leans back and he says, in that case, The two of you on the ground there should know that the only reason you're alive is because your friend Silvo here had the wits to understand his limitations. Now, you killed several of my people. Fortunately for you, I don't really care. All that I really care about is making sure that what we're doing here gets solved. And you can solve a problem for me that I've had. We're engaged in a kind of, let us say, distribution network here in this house. But I have been involved in something else at the same time. And he points over to Revif the Scout, and he talks to, we'll go back to the map for a second, Revif the Scout, and to Can, who is still staring murderously at Morthwill. And he says, the two of you wait outside in the passageways. Make sure that no one else from Saltmarsh decides to be smart. I need to speak with these ones alone. And Revif sort of nods, passes over you, Morthwill, and then goes into somewhere into the passageway beyond. And and Can walks by, and as he walks by you, Morthwill, he just looks like this around you, and you hear and walks past. Like, you can just, his voice is trembling in anger, Morthwill. And then he goes down here. And now that you're here, Sanballat waits until they're gone, and then he says, so, this house, as you may have heard, was owned by someone. An artificer. And that person had something that I want. It is precious to me, and I need it found. I have been, so far, unable to discover it, but I know that it's here. There are opportunities to be had. So I am going to send you to explore several other areas in this house. You will find for me what I seek. And if you do so, obediently, and without an attempt at treachery, not only will I free you, but I will reward you. You can get more working for me than you can for the mud paddlers of Saltmarsh. But if you want to stay heroes, you're welcome to take your best effort and prepare for the death that awaits you. I've already proven my power. Now I need to test your intelligence. Will you take advantage, the three of you, of the opportunity your friend Silvo here has given you? The choice is yours. And he says that and leans back against the wall, but one hand raises again, and you see a blue glow on his palm. And right now it's pointed directly at Waves. And Waves and Brian, actually.
Was I disarmed?
I would say that you were disarmed before they healed you, yeah. Now, Silvo technically is not, and Morthwill technically is not, but the two of you, I think, have been disarmed for the moment.
In that case, I'll just sit there and stare completely blankly at Lord Sambale, as if I was not particularly intelligent. He thinks me a bird thing. Let's see.
What about you, Brian?
Brian is going to still be coughing and spluttering with this elixir or whatever it was that brought her back, and go, I think I excuse me, I think I missed something. Who are you again?
And he sort of smiles and he says, I will introduce myself in a moment, but I asked for your name first. most of all, I asked for your commitment.
Well, I mean, I would. I would
The blue glow
love to
intensifies
say
in his
I'll
hand.
help you out, but without knowing what I'm saying that I'll help you with, how can I possibly make an informed decision? What exactly are you looking for in this house?
And he sort of looks at you closely and he says, "And if I tell you, I suppose you will cheerfully take my word for it? You will happily engage in whatever it is that you've suggested you're going to do? Or is there," and he kind of pauses for a second and then says, "Is there something that will ensure your loyalty?"
Well, I mean, I don't know what I'm being loyal to. I've just woken up and I've got this tickle in the back of my throat. Have you got any water? Do you have a drink that I can? Do you have any water?
I have water that I can provide to you, or I have water in which I can bury you. You're wasting time. Do you commit to what I'm asking you to do? I promise I wouldn't ask you if I didn't know you could do it.
Well, I mean, if you tell me what it is, then I might be able to give you a good answer.
You might be able to give me a good answer either way, because I'm not asking you, I'm telling you. I am growing tired of the delay. Last chance.
Can I just whisper something to
Sure.
Brian, but telepathically? I'll whisper to Brian, I haven't told him your name.
Okay. Well, I'm whispering that back. So what you're saying is that my two choices are to help you out with something I have no idea about, or a watery grave.
That is pretty much correct, yes.
Well, it's a difficult choice. Can you give me some time to think?
And he sort of takes a step further and he says, "No." And the glow gets very intense and you see several glowing missiles, darts appearing in his hand.
Well, I mean, you drive a hard bargain. I don't see that you've given us much of a choice.
Can I whisper to Sanballat?
Sorry?
Can I whisper to Sanballat?
Yeah, like telepathically?
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't think there's a need to threaten them like this. If you ensure their safety, they're more than likely to be compliant for you. These aren't politically minded adventurers. They're very simple in their motivations. If you just tell them that they will be safe and alive if they help you, then they'll do a favor for you, and everyone can go along their way.
Deception check.
Is it a deception though?
Is it a deception? Yeah.
But I know
Because-
it's an 11, so...
I felt that might be the truth.
Oh, well, I guess that's a good
Well,
point, actually.
I think that's what Silvo believes.
Well, then persuasion.
Silvo-
Then I take it back. Then persuasion. The first one was definitely deception, but this is it.
16.
So he kind of like looks at you and his green eyes piercing. Reminds you a little bit, Silvo, of the eyes, the hooded eyes of the Viper Sisters. And then and the missiles disappear, and he says, "Very well. You should know that the only reason you're alive still is Silvo's continued actions on your behalf. I hope you're worthy of them." And he kind of turns around and walks away, and then he says, "I am looking in this house for several magical relics. They were owned by the artificer who owned this place, but he was a notoriously secretive old fool. And although I have spent some time, I have been unable to track down exactly where he was found. And of course there is danger in this house, danger which makes it sometimes risky for me to take my own people and send them on an adventure like this. But as for you, with one foot in the grave as it is, I can certainly make something out of it. And besides, it gives me the opportunity to test one of you. And his eyes kind of flicker to you, Silvo, and then back. And he
George
says,
looks at the floor.
find me this artifact. There may be several, but they'll all be in the same place. Find me where he left his treasure here, and I'll let you live. Betray me, and I will hunt you down and kill you anyway, and our operation will continue here unabated. And he's facing away from you as he's saying this with his arms folded.
As we have a brief second, individually, I would like to speak telepathically to each party member and just whisper the words, I'm sorry, to them.
I don't hear an answer.
Who's he looking to for an answer?
He's not. Doesn't seem to be looking to anybody. He's sort of waiting for any of the four of you to respond. And he kind of looks over his shoulder in the general direction of the group.
Okay. He mentioned earlier that he remembers me. It might be because of my reputation. However, he hadn't popped up from behind this barrel before I went down.
Right.
So do I recognize anything about him? Do I know anything about this person? Is he someone that I've heard of before? Because he's mentioned his name, hasn't he?
Yes. I don't think he has, actually. I think he was waiting for you to, give your answer before, I think. I don't think he actually said his name yet. But you could ask for him for his name now that you've, quote, given him your consent.
Okay, I will say now that we haven't been formally introduced, may I inquire as to your name?
You may. And he turns around. You'll hear it a lot more, as will many people here along the Azure Sea if I have my chance. My name is Sanballat. Now, this name does not strike you as familiar. You don't really recognize him in particular, Brian. But there is no question that he obviously has some decent amount, potentially considerable amount of magical power.
Okay. Because we were led to believe that there might be pirates or slavers here, so I just wondered if I knew him in pirating circles, as it were.
Nope, not pirating circles, but almost certainly it doesn't take you long, Brian, to put two and two together. There are bolts of cloth right above you, and there are casks of wine down below you. These are definitely, they may or may not be slavers, you don't know, but they're definitely smugglers.
Mm-hmm.
No question about it. That's what this stuff looks like.
Okay. I am kind of looking to my companions, and I'm just going to say, you haven't given us much of a choice, have you? We'll see if we can find your artifacts.
And he nods, and he says, good. And he pulls out from his cloak, he pulls out a long, delicate wooden pipe. And you can see that it's a long stem, this pipe, and then the end of it is the bowl that holds the tobacco. It seems to be made of some kind of stone. And he, using his fingers, snaps his fingers and a little bit of flame on his fingers, and he lights the bowl and puffs on it. And the smoke, as it comes out of his mouth and comes out of the end of his the pipe in his mouth, sort of exits, but you notice that it doesn't leave. The smoke just circles around him, and the more that he smokes, the more that the more that the smoke remains. And then you all see that the smoke is beginning to form shapes, and the shapes are actually doing things and moving around. And then you see the smoke actually forms into what is obviously the face and body of Sanballat. And you see the face sort of, the body kind of pointing, and some of the other smoky shapes look as if they are like bandits or various servants and things like that who are carrying casks of wine and barrels and moving things back and forth as the Sanballat smoke figure points in different directions. And then Sanballat, the last thing you see is the Sanballat smoky figure at the top of what looks like almost like either a tower or something like that, standing, and the smoke down below has formed itself into many, many people that are looking up, awestruck at him at the top of the tower. And then he takes his pipe and removes it from his mouth, and the smoke vanishes. And he says, "Someday, that will be me. Someday, if you're lucky, those faces you see in the crowd will be you. If you do your job, you might end up in a much better place. If you don't, you will end up as dead as, well, as dead as you almost were just now. I will heal your wounds before you leave, but I will not give you time to rest. We have work to be done." And he kind of waves his hand and then pulls out a sort of larger version of that potion, the elixir, and he tosses it to you, Silvo, kind of underhands it so that you're able to catch it. And it's a fairly decent size, so there's enough that he could give some to each of you if you needed it. So
I
depends on who
would
wants to
like
take some or not. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
would like to use my divine sense
Okay.
to see whether he is a fiend or something like that.
He's, and I think it only detects just evil or fiendishness. What, right?
As an action, you can detect good and evil. Until the end of your next turn, you can sense anything affected by the Hallow spell,
Okay.
or know the location of any celestial, fiend, undead within 60 feet that is not behind total cover.
Okay, so several things there. Number one, he is decidedly, you can sense anything affected by the... Okay, right. So, first of all, he is decidedly not undead and not a fiend. He is absolutely evil. You probably could have guessed that already, but he was absolutely evil. More troubling.
Do we need to tell you our alignments?
Yeah, right, exactly. More troubling to you, though, Waves, is that you do sense undead here. But the undead that you sense are not in this room. They are somewhere to the north. There is definitely undead that you can sense, but not in this
Danger room.
Yep.
If they are behind total cover from me, I will not sense them.
It means that you would know. Well, yeah, but I thought you would sense them even though you wouldn't know the location. Anyway,
Okay.
But regardless, but there's no undead here, and he is definitely not undead or a fiend.
Okay.
So Silvo, you have this thing. Are you going to have any of it / toss it to any of your companions?
Yeah, I'm going to take a mouthful and then pass it to my companions.
Okay, so you are going to restore 3 points, which I think brings you to full. Again, you're sort of coughing the whole thing. Morthwheel or everybody else taking some, or?
I will take it last after the other two have had a swig.
Okay.
I will kneel down next to... Well, actually, are Brian and Waves, are you on your feet now, or are you still on the floor?
You were sort of seated, but you could stand if you wish.
Yeah. I don't think we were allowed to stand up so far.
Okay, I'll kind of kneel next to you and kind of letting the prisoner drink water-esque kind of feed you this potion if you want it.
No, I don't want to be fed. I will try to take it on my own and hand it to Brian first.
Okay, that's 3 points for you, Waves.
No, I'm sending it to Brian first.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Like, I'm not taking it.
Okay. All right. So then never mind the.
And if they both now look, Thing is, Waves doesn't know that this is the potion she already
I
got.
gotcha.
So she's waiting for a moment to see if anybody dies.
Up to you,
Seeing
Brian.
if I'm going to get poisoned before taking it.
Yeah, you never know. You did that before. And if it
Uh,
looks like nobody's dying, she will also take a swig and then hand it to Morthwell.
I'm trustingly going to take this potion from Silvo and then hand it to Waves.
Okay, so
And
4
then-
points for you, Brian. That's 9, I believe.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and then 3 points for you, Waves. That's 8, I think.
No, 5.
No, you had 5, but you just got 3 more from taking this
Ah,
potion.
okay.
Because she said you would
Sorry.
wait, and she didn't die, so I assumed
Yeah.
that meant that you had some.
Okay, yeah.
That leads us to Morthwell, who wanted to take it last. And Morthwell, where are you at with this? Do you want to...
Yeah, I will drink what's left of it.
Okay, that's brings you up to 6. Okay.
And then I smash the bottle at my feet.
Okay. So you smash the bottle.
Just throw it on the ground.
I got you.
Eyes locked on Sandballet.
And like, so Sanballat sort of looks at you and kind of smiles. Amusing. Quite amusing. I see that you are where the defiance lies. That's fine. As long as you do what you're told, I don't mind if you wish to get out your childish uncertainties elsewhere. It's unfortunate, though, Morthwheel, that you didn't think to do that before you had some of this. If you're this defiant, it might make it difficult. What you've all taken... Oh, go ahead.
Did he deliberately use my name there? Because we gave an alias.
Oh, right, I'm sorry, Piatto.
Okay.
My bad.
I wasn't sure if he was revealing a
No,
card.
I forgot, sorry. Piatto. So, Piatto. And he says, Piatto, and he says, the substance that all of you have taken has some interesting properties. It will, of course, heal you. In the long term, it will kill you. Unless, of course, you are given a particular antidote to which I have possession. You have 24 hours. Explore this house, find what I need, bring it to me. I will give you the antidote, I will let you live, and I will reward you. Try to run away, and you will find yourself choking in your own heart's blood. Not unlike the way you, my dear, were choking just now, he says, looking at you, Brian. I'm so glad we had this discussion. I'm so glad that Saltmarsh has sent its very best to my home. And somewhere in the distance you hear the waves. And that's where we're going to bring our session to a close. Dang, people. That got real dark all of a sudden. Nice one, Saber, by the way. Good stuff there. I hate this bastard too, just to be clear. So that was, am I sure this is a low-level campaign? Yes, I am. Yeah, I mean, the party did take down some of his guards, and they could have maybe, depending on how things worked out, done things differently. I mean, things could have worked out in a different way. Part of the issue, though, was that under the circumstances, some of the stealth rolls that got missed and other things like triggering a couple of those traps and stuff like that meant that these folks were prepared. And they have, for a while, been waiting for the possibility of someone coming to attack them. It's actually a good thing in retrospect that the person didn't hit Brian to begin with when Brian was facing away from the curtain. That would have been unfortunate because we needed Brian to actually do some damage earlier on. But yeah, there are these issues. No. The job of Dungeon Master is not to murder the player characters. That's not true. I am rooting hardcore for my player characters. And chat, it was hugely important that chat was here because the party might not have all made it under those circumstances. We will see what's going to happen, though, going forward. The party is working now for a terrible boss, a guy they don't want to work for. And they've certainly tracked down that there is indeed a smuggling operation going on here in this house. And perhaps more. How are they going to stop him? What will happen next? We'll find out next month. I'm going to start with, as always, in the bottom of the column, and I'll work up. Ananda, I'm sorry that Brian went down again. I really think it's just been a combination of the situation that you're in, it's really not your fault. Honestly, a lot of it has been luck, and also the positioning of where Brine tends to be. And so that kind of just worked not necessarily in your favor. As it was, you did do some damage. You had, I think, some good RP there where you woke up and you're trying to like think of things like, move things around as you're going through it. But you were dealing with a guy who obviously has no moral compass and has a little bit of power. And so you were having to kind of work on the fly. Nonetheless, I think that Brian has got definitely got his attention. Obviously, Silvo really got his attention. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But I think Brian really got his attention, and we'll see what Brian can do back to him like a good pirate should. How'd you feel about today? Where will the fine folks find you next?
Oh, I had fun as always. There's I love the way that each of the characters is like, you can almost me as a role player can almost predict that Waves is going to want to go towards danger. Silver is going to want to go away from danger. Muthwil is going to like roll his eyes every time I try and use my sabers on each other to intimidate people. Once again, Brian goes down, but there will come a time when Brian will surprise everyone
and will not go down.
And actually save people and do some damage as opposed to being rescued constantly. But no, I had fun as always. Yeah, I'm looking forward to next time, see how this is going to play out.
It's going to be good times. Where will the folks find you next, Ananda?
I will be over on my own channel for the rest of the week. I'm currently playing through the Mass Effect Legendary Edition. I'm on Mass Effect 3. And then I'll be back over here on Saturday with the game to be decided. And then again over here on Monday.
Good stuff. Thank you, Nana. Good stuff today, as always, with Brian. And yes, I have no doubt that will be the case. Moving right on up the line, Mike Silvo obviously had a lot of stuff going on here. I actually really liked Silvo's reactions here in a couple of ways. First of all, Silvo, you really needed to firebolt that dude to take him down. That was big. Secondly, having that moment of being able to, Silvo really was able to use this kind of telepathic thing with the party to good effect. Silvo needed to do that. And Silvo obviously intrigued Sanballat quite a bit, and that was something which maybe kept the party alive long enough because Sanballat was intrigued by your abilities. And I loved not only the deception that you did early on, which was important to save the party, but then the persuasion that you did. Like that was why it was good to find out it was legitimate. Like you really were just kind of like at the end of your tether a little bit and just like, I'm so tired of this thing and freaked out. That Silvo's reaction, as it often has been in combat, as we've talked about, which is to have these manifestations. Here, Silvo's reaction was just to be like, yeah, I am kind of like, obviously you don't want to work for him over your friends, but you very much are like, yeah, I don't want to be dealing with this anymore. And so that was real, and it came across that way in a very interesting way, and it sets up a very interesting situation for Silvo, who's clearly, by saying sorry to his companions, feels sorry, but in a way was one of the major reasons that the party's not all dead at this point, was because Silvo, opened up this negotiation. How did you feel about today? Where will the fine folks find you next?
Yeah, I felt really, really conflicted about this, because there was part of me that was just like, no, I just want to keep hammering away at this boss until some of us are dead on the floor, and then some of us were dead on the floor, and I'm just like, no, we probably need to do things a little bit differently. And I know Silvo's probably the only character that could have probably done that, because he's already technically working for another bad person, so he's technically working for the Viper Sisters, but not telling the party. And as much as I love and adore the players that I'm playing with, I know that these people don't really know each other, and Silvo's been looking for a way out of the situation that he's in for a long time. Like, this ruined his life. More on that another time, but this whole situational curse that he believes he's under, someone kind of dangles this golden rope in front of him, like, I can tell you not only how to control it, but how not to fear it anymore. Like, oh god, yeah, absolutely, sign me up. Like, okay, I will do some sketchy stuff for that kind of reward, So it's not that he wants to, and that sorry is genuine. He doesn't want to. He's gotten to know these characters, he's gotten to know these people, and like, he doesn't want to hurt them. Like, he doesn't want Sanballat to kill them, but he also doesn't mind kind of using everybody to his own advantage at this point in the game. You know, he's not trying to double cross anybody, but he's just trying to get as much out of it for himself, so he can kind of stabilize himself as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be interesting to see where it goes from this. He's not necessarily, I suppose it's weird with like deception rolls and persuasion rolls for Silvo, because sometimes when he's talking to people like Sambalet, and even the Viper Sisters and also the other party members, it's not that he believes he is definitely working for those people or with those people. Not even he's sure of his motivations at this stage.
Yeah.
Like he's been trying to just survive day to day, week to week for so long that he's just like, I have an interaction with this person, and I need to get the most out of it, because the worst out of it could be I die, the best out of it could be I eat for a day. Like that's kind of the two extremes for him. So yeah, it's been interesting. So genuinely, like I said in chat, next session when sign me up immediately, as many sessions in Spooky October as possible. And yeah, I'm genuinely really looking forward to playing it again.
Good stuff, Mike. Where will they find you out on the internets? In the world?
Yeah, absolutely. So there are some changes coming in October. There's a new website release coming up, and also some different details on that. I won't bore you with all the details. I am giving away all of my training courses for free. Follow me on social media at Peripheral Mike on on Twitter. And if you want to find me on LinkedIn as well, because that's what the training courses are through, I'll be posting links to various social media channels anyway, but it's all under Peripheral Mike. So if you want any free tech courses or you're interested in any of that sort of stuff, just hit me up. And other than that, there will be some video game streaming news coming soon. I just haven't hammered out all the details yet. So watch this space, peeps.
Good stuff. Thank you, Mike. Good stuff today. All right. Good night, Effect Life. Always a pleasure. Thank you, Mike. Good stuff. Saber, Morthwheel really surprised me. First of all, Morthwheel, I think, had some important things that Morthwheel was doing in terms of like combat and also arranging where do we go from what place and all that sort of thing. But Morthwheel's defiance there of Sanballat was very interesting to me. There was something that obviously sort of triggered, because Morthwheel, you know, dealt with like Hack and the crew back there, you know, back in Saltmarsh, like the racist stuff. Like Morthwheel kind of like, not that he likes those people, but he was just kind of like, whatever, you know. This one really clearly set him off in a certain way, and I thought his reaction, especially that smashing of the potion at the end there, was really interesting, and I think maybe even Sanballat wouldn't have expected that necessarily. And that sets up a really interesting dynamic about Silvo and what his motivations are, Brine and Sanballat's sort of maybe familiarity, maybe not, and then obviously, you know, Morthwheel, who hasn't told him his name and gave him a fake name and, you know, was clearly not happy with this clown. And that sets up a very interesting dynamic, I think, for what's going to happen next. I am curious what you thought of the session tonight and where the lovely folks will find you next.
I forgot how brutal level 1 combat was. It's been like 5 years.
That's right.
But then I was like, God, this seems harder than I remember. And then I'm like, no, dig further back. Yes, remember like the skeletons and encounters like that way back in the early days? It's like, oh yeah, that was pretty rough, wasn't it? So yeah. Honestly, if Morthwheel had ended up in this situation by himself, he may have actually fought to the death. But it was more than just him going on. He had people who were down, people who, like, there was no way. Like, he could have popped around the corner and charged and then been probably like bopped on the head the second he got there. Yeah. It was a bad situation. And, but Morthwheel was not going to give him the satisfaction of having it all his way, even if it is some, you know, small and futile gestures where he can get them in. And at the moment, really, because this was interesting, because it's my first lawful good character. Celsig was chaotic good. Yep. So he could get away with a bit more in that regards. And I was always thinking, the problem is as the saying goes, lawful good, not lawful stupid. Right. So it's like there's the defiance, and then when he's like, I will kill them, he's like, I'm going to stop talking. Yeah. Not shoot my mouth off. I'm not going to give him the satisfaction. Silvo stepped in, started talking, and he just quietened down, and then he got to just send a little sign. He's like, we're not done, sir, we are not done.
Well, because it also reflects too, right, the different mindset from someone like Silvo, right? I mean, both good characters, but Silvo is not a lawful good character, and I think you're right, like your sensibility as a lawful good character is kind of offended by the existence of this guy who does the stuff that he does for the reason he does it. And that's why you're right. I get frustrated by people who are just like, oh, lawful good is just boring. I'm like, it is not boring. It's a different kind of nuanced approach. And the approach there is like, what do you actually value and under what circumstances? So that was really interesting to me. I was surprised by that, and in a good way, obviously. So
the moment motivation is really get the others out of this alive somehow.
Yeah.
It's a bad situation we're in. Let's see how I can work with them to find a way out of this.
And also you stumbled
regardless
into
of
something
whether
more
or
than
not they
just,
may want to.
yeah, and also apparently you've stumbled into a little bit more than just a, you know, hey, we're just doing this operation. Like this dude has other designs on things. So anyway.
Yes, so we'll see how that rolls out.
Yep.
But until next time, and again, when we will have a discussion, I'm sure. But I'll be back here tomorrow on GOG. I think I'm going to cover the release stream of In Sound Mind, which looks like a weird, trippy puzzle horror game. I watched the trailer. I honestly still don't know what to make of it, but it looks like it'll be pretty entertaining. So that's what I'm going to be doing tomorrow. And Thursday, I'll be back on my channel with, I don't know what. I've been jumping around so many games lately. It'll be something, and it'll be on Thursday over on my channel.
Diablo 2 Runner. Snow.
That's
2.
in the mix.
Yeah, Snow Diablo 2 Runner. Mix. No, always a pleasure, Saber. Thank you very much again. Thanks for Dashboard Moobot, and good stuff today. And last Pyron, you know, Waves was also in a situation where, again, it was a little bit unlucky because obviously Waves' damage potential is enormous. That Hobgoblin, which had an AC of 18, in case anyone's curious, that Hobgoblin was a problem, and you almost took it out. Like one extra point might have helped a little bit because it would have cut down on the number of targets to deal with and everything else. But you did do a lot of damage as it was. Then after that, it was just a matter of sort of figuring out how to handle sort of a difficult situation. And when you went down and Brian went down, that was obviously kind of an issue for the party. I do not, I mean, I've had characters, as Mike knows, I've had characters die before in my campaigns, and if they die, they die. But I really was hoping, not. I was really hoping that these characters survive because I like them all and I would like to see them do well. But there was a very real possibility that it would have happened. So it really is thanks to chat and Timaeus that the saves were able to happen, which is why this is such a cool interactive experience, chat, because you too are part of the experience. But it was a good thing that all worked out the way it did. And I am very curious to see how Waves manages things going forward in terms of, your blank, I'm, pretending to be stupid thing. That's probably only going to work so long, even from Waves' point of view. Like eventually Waves, I imagine, is going to be like, I can't deal with it, like sword draw, whatever, something, I don't know, or I guess she's disarmed at the moment, but they'll give her weapons. Presumably he'll give her the weapons back, though, when he's sent off into the house to kind of find whatever it is this guy's looking for. So anyway, it's going to be some interesting times ahead. How did you feel about today's session? Where would the lovely folks find you next?
I love all our sessions, so that's not really a fair question. So I love today. And for Waves, it was a bit difficult because for Waves is like freedom overall. And so first she had suddenly silver in her mind, which was something she was not completely okay with. And then for her, was still like a hunt for the slavers. And now there's this other person who wants to curtail her freedom and has also kind of completely ignored her, which is something she's used to, but still doesn't appreciate. So let's see how all of this goes. Still, character with AC 19, and I went down into attacks. It was meant to be today.
Yeah.
And yeah, as a player, I do want real risk to my characters. So if a character dies, I'm in that way as a player. I might be sad about it, but I'm also fine with it because for me that actually enhances the experience, because I don't want to know that I can always survive everything. That would take the fun out of things. I will be very honest. I need that thrill. I need that risk of my character actually having a life and a death in that way.
Yeah.
And so yeah. And next, I have a stream on Thursday. I don't know what I'll be streaming on Thursday yet. It depends a bit on which releases will happen this week. I can't really spoil what's going to happen this week, but I'm gonna tell you there will be really, really cool things happening this week. Keep your eye on the GOG homepage. Just do it.
It'll be good. It'll be good stuff.
Yeah, there will be good stuff. I can't say more, but good stuff. Really, really good stuff. We're also already preparing for our next GOG Showdown. We had one on Sunday. You can still watch the VOD on the channel. And that was the RPG month edition for September. And we're gonna have a Halloween horror edition of that for the end of October. So that's also going to be really, really cool.
Good
That's
stuff
it for me.
Good stuff all the way around. Thank you, Pyron. Wonderful work today, players. It was entertaining and got very tense at the end, but tense in a good way. And the party is they're still standing. They're still standing. So we will see what happens next month. I feel the same way about next session when. I can't wait. Chat, can we get some love for the amazing players of Pyron Jade, of Darksaber 2K, of Peripheral Mike, and of Ananda? Thank you. Great work today, players. And we will see you all next month. Bye for now.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks for watching.
And that is going to do it for us for today. And yeah, that was something. I honestly thought that honestly, the way it was going to go down is that basically if Timaeus, because Echo had used up 2 inspirations, Lone Wolf had used 2 inspirations. If Timaeus had not used that inspiration, literally going to resub and re-up on my channel, and got that in, then that would have been it. And so that's a very strange experience because death for these campaigns does have to be a real possibility. And there was a very real chance that that Waves wasn't going to make it. There was a chance that Brian wasn't going to make it also. But especially that rolling the 1, I was like, dang, because of the critical failures. So that would have been rough. So, yeah, exactly. You helped. That's true. That's true. So Echo, you and Lone and Timaeus definitely made it possible for the party to survive today. So you all deserve kudos. That was rough, but it was tense for me as the DM trying to see what was going to happen. So it'll be curious to see how they work with this Sanballat and whether or not they'll be able to figure out a way to get free of his clutches and bring an end to this smuggler's operation. But that, of course, will be for next month. That's going to be it for me for today. It's also it for GOG for today. The next person you're going to see is going to be tomorrow with Wolfie Lore, who's going to be playing some Timberborn, I believe. As for me, I will be back here next week. I'm going to check with the party. Not with the party. I am going to do that, but I'm going to check and take a look at the schedule. My guess is that next week is probably going to be Solasta and then probably Talisman Adventures. And then my guess is after that, we'll do Saltmarsh. Normally that's how it works. So I'm guessing that we're doing that, but I am not 100% sure. We will confirm. On my own channel, I'll be back on Friday with Esper Genesis, which is my 5e space opera. You definitely want to check that out. We've just added Saladin Ahmed as a new player to that mix. Saladin Ahmed is the writer for Miles Morales, does the writing for Miles Morales and Spider-Man, and is also is the executive producer of a new Batman podcast called Batman Unburied, which is going to be on Netflix, I believe it is. No, not Netflix. Sorry, not Netflix. Spotify. Spotify's new podcast, and Saladin's a very good writer and comic writer and a lot of stuff. So that's going to be happening Friday night. That will be live from Columbus, Ohio, where I'm going to be for the Origins convention, where I co-coordinate the Authors Library. Saturday is up in the air, Echo. I don't know yet whether or not we're going to have a stream. It's possible. I'm going to see if I can, but I don't know. So basically, as Mike said, watch this space. Check out my Twitter and so on. And you can follow me on my Twitter, and then I'll be able to post and let people know if I'm going to be streaming or not, because it really will depend on the way things look. Friday is definite. Saturday, though, is a little bit up in the air. So hang in there, and we will see. dang these cons. Well, I haven't had a con since Three Rivers Comic Con, which was in May. And that was the first one that I had where I didn't actually have just that was online or something like that. That was the last in-person one I'd had for the better part of a year, actually over a year. So this is the first one I've had since May. And then there's going to be one more that I have in December in Washington, D.C. And that's it until next year. And then hopefully by next year, things are going to be starting to move in a more normal fashion, one would hope. But so if you like what you saw and heard, please follow us here on the channel on GOG. Please make sure to subscribe to us here on GOG.com, and please check out our individual channels as well, because we have our own subsystems and Patreons and all that kind of good stuff also. And all of that is always appreciated if you can support us there. And as I said, I'll be back on my channel on Friday, and I'll be back on this channel with episode 296 of Pen and Pixels, and that'll be coming to you next Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern. But that's it for now. Thanks, everyone. I hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you all for being a great audience today. It was a lot of fun. And please spread the word. Let people know. Let the powers that be at GOG know, and let other people you know that we have some good tabletop stuff going on here. I'm very proud of this group, very proud of these players, and very proud of all of you, chat, for being such a big contribution to this. So thanks, everyone. Enjoy the last few days of September. I'll see you on Friday from my channel and back here next Tuesday for some probably Celesta during episode 296 of Pen and Pixels. Until then, everyone, be good to each other. Bye for now.